Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if neglected Naruto was adopted by Artemis. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by JACK277 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1 Serial. We find a sleeping Naruto Uzumaki in his mansion just outside of New York City. His mansion was a rather plain-looking one that had little to decorations on the inside and looked like it really needed a woman's touch. He was soundly asleep in his bed, but his sleep was suddenly interrupted by his unusually loud alarm clock that read 7 o'clock, but it stopped when a well-toned hand smashed it into the ground, breaking it completely. Naruto slept for about a minute before. Shit. I overslept. The blonde yelled frantically as quickly got off his bed and made a beeline for the door, not minding his current outfit. A pair of white. The blonde man ran out of his room, past the white halls of the mansion, and headed straight downstairs to the kitchen. Crap, I'm so late for school. Naruto then headed to his giant fridge was filled with milk to the brim. He then proceeded to grab one of them and in a blur was rushed to the dining table. "Annie, wake up, you late for school," he called to the only other occupant of the house apart from him. Naruto and Blur quickly set the table with bowls of cereal. "Hey dad, come," a young girl's voice scaring Naruto, making him spill his milk and cereal. And if anyone asked, he did not scream like a girl, and no sir, he did not. Seated on a chair at the opposite of Naruto was a 16-year-old girl with curly blonde hair and piercing sliver eyes. This was his daughter Annabeth Uzumaki, and right now she was reading the newspaper. "First of all, you don't go to school, I do," the girl said, not even looking up from her reading. "You're right, I don't. But probably late for work," the blonde said with wide eyes. He forget his grown man now and the man of house who in turn feeds the family. To feed the family one needs a job. "Oh my cereal, I'm late for my job." "No, you're not. You don't have job," Annabeth said lazy as she turned to the next page looking for an interesting article. "Which reminds me. I'm the one who's late for school." The blonde Uzumaki's eyes widened at this. "Shit. Annie, why didn't you say anything?" Blonde asked. Just as he was about to head to the kitchen to grab a cereal box and some milk, he stopped and blinked twice. There on the table were 2 bowls of cereal filled with milk. When the hell did that get there? Without thinking too much about it, the blonde began to eat, spoon already in hand. Where he got it no one knows. Not that Naruto saw it, but Annabeth smirked a bit behind the newspaper. She knows her father well, so well that it could be classified on a term of creepy. His favorite colors? Orange and red. His favorite food? Cereal. His favorite anime? One Piece. His favorite manga? One Punch Man. List goes on and on. Yep. She knew him. His life was a boring one at that. He has no job due to him claiming to own Google. So money wasn't an issue. They pretty much had everything: money, a mansion, cars. To make things interesting, they lived only the 2 of them in the mansion in the forest. The house wasn't too deep in the forest, nor was it too far from it. Asked why build a house away from civilization, the blonde just shrugged and said, "So I can read my manga and watch my anime in peace." Yep, such was the life of Annabeth and her father Naruto. So far in thought she didn't realize that her father had carried her all the way to the car. "Hold on, Annie. It's gonna be a bumpy ride." With that, the orange race car was off. Why he bought a race car instead of a normal car was beyond her. Race car zoomed through the empty road. "So, Annie-chan, no one's bullying you at school, right?" "Course if they are," he trailed, saying the last pass seriously. Annabeth just rolled her eyes at this. He could overprotective some most of the time. "No dad, they're not like anyone would try that on her. No one would even talk to her, and for some strange reason she liked it like that. You know that I'm here for you, right? You can tell me anything." And there he is, making her regret her decision to keep Camp Half-Blood a secret from him. But it was for the best. He tended to be way overprotective, and if he found out that his darling daughter way going to a camp that trains children to fight monsters. Even worse if he found out about Percy. Well, let's leave it at that. "Yeah, I know that, Dad." There was a moment of silence in the car. Each blonde left to their thoughts. With a sigh from the older of the 2, the silence was broken. "You know, ever since you've been going to this summer camp we've become distant from each other." "Why?" Annabeth again. But somehow she knew he was right. Their relationship had become distant ever since the discovery of Camp Half-Blood a few years back. "Is there something you're not telling me? I mean, we were so close that I was your first kiss." At the statement, Annabeth blushed. She'd rather not remember that. Most of the girls at her school kept on going on and on about boyfriends and first kisses, teasing her about it. Finally, after having enough, Annabeth made her way home, took advantage of her sleeping father, and well, let's leave it at that. Without answering him, Annabeth looked to the side window. Annabeth sighed as she watched the world go by in a blur. Due to the high speed, she wanted to tell him the truth about Camp Half, about the gods, the monsters really she did, but if he ever figured it out, he'd probably stop her from going back to camp before she finished her training. Her father was unpredictable. For all she knew, he would follow her to Camp Half-Blood without her knowing. With that, Annabeth steeled herself for what she was about to do. It had to be done. For him. She had to. You always ask me this and I'm sick of it. So what? Huh. It's none of your business. So just butt out. I didn't ask for your help, so never ever ask again. But I thought why? Trust you? No dad, I don't. You lie to me about where you get our money. How am I supposed to trust someone who constantly lies to my face? But it's the truth. IONG Google. Please dad, just drop it already. The both went silent. After a few miles of driving, they finally reached the high school. Without so much of a word, Annabeth opened the car door and was about to leave. Annie, I love you, know that right? Just leave me alone. I hate you. But that Annabeth left a shock and sat in Naruto behind. Ignoring the muttering of the high schoolers about how cool his car was, Naruto started up his car and left. If he stayed a bit, he would have seen a crying Annabeth look back. Annabeth stared as the orange car drove off. Did she do the right thing? Was rejecting him the right thing? Wiping away her tears, Annabeth put up a determined face. No matter what, this had to be done to protect him. I love you, daddy. Naruto was a crying mess. He went about with his normal life, going to the mall to buy cereal, go home, catch up on manga, watch anime, eat cereal, sleep. Currently he was now at the racetrack doing drifts to pass the time. After speeding around, he decided it was time to go pick Annabeth from school. Whether she hated him or not, he was still her father. She came out of his loins. Maybe not. Not sure about that part. First his dating the super hot professor from Harvard, and few months later she brings little Annie. Didn't even get laid. But one thing is for sure, he raised her, and she's his, no one else's. She's the love of his life. Yes, you heard that right. Yes, it's a bit weird. She's been with him for the past 16 years. For the past 16 years she's been his light in the darkness that was his heart. 40 kilometers away from the school, we find Naruto humming to himself happy tone, which was weird considering he had a sad look on his face and his bright blue eyes had lost their brightness. Driving his orange sports car at a slow speed due to the other cars in the road, but all that changed when he noticed a trail of smoke a few miles away, coming from the same direction as Annabeth's school. Shit. Naruto hit the gas and the sports car blurred off at high speeds. Naruto didn't even notice that breaking the speed limit had got him the attention of the police. As he sped through the road dodging cars, only one thing was on his mind: Annabeth. Please be a Kami, love. Reaching the high school in record time, not even bothering to stop the car, Naruto quickly opened the door, and soon as his feet touched the ground he broke into a run. The school building was practically a raging inferno, falling apart on itself. Ignoring the shouts of people warning him not to go there, Naruto, in burst of pure speed, had already made it inside. After searching through the whole inferno of a school, Naruto found nothing well apart from the burned to black bodies of students and teachers. Not even sparing a glance at the bodies around him, Naruto moved on. Daddy, help. Please. Naruto quickly broke into a run, heading straight for the direction of feminine scream. Daddy, please. Ducking under some fallen roof, Naruto had run at full speed, almost a blur. Ah. Annabeth, I'm coming. Naruto yelled at the top of his lungs while he ran through the former halls of the high school. Just hold on. Daddy. Annie. It hurts. Just hold on, Daddy's coming. An orange blur raced up a flight of stairs, ducked under fallen rubble, and jumped rather large gaps that a normal human couldn't. Naruto came to a halt in hall filled with classes. Oddly. Finding the class, Naruto kicked down the door, enough force to shatter it to nothing but splinters. Getting inside, Naruto spotted a young girl at the corner of the class, holding her broken and burned right hand with her left hand. Girl had a look of terror on her face, as frantically looked around, tears freely flowed down her cheek. Naruto for his part did not know what to do. He relived that it wasn't Annabeth, and at the same he was frightened. What if she was burnt to nothing? That's why he couldn't find her. Turning back, he was about to walk out when he glanced back and saw the frightened look mixed with that of pain and agony. He could not help but relate the girl to Annabeth. Could be the hair color. What if that was Annabeth in that corner? What if it was someone else that found her like this? Would they help her? Or would they leave her? The girl's father must be worried sick. People were surprised when a man carrying a child burst out of one of the windows. Setting the crying girl down gently and letting the paramedics take her, Naruto was about to go question anyone if they've seen his daughter when he noticed something old. His eyes narrowed. A man in an expensive black suit, a little too close to the burning school. No teacher can afford that with their paycheck, and considering some teachers are dead or others are banged up pretty badly. Not a parent course is too close the fire. Not a police or paramedic because of how he's dressed. Not a student, looks to be too old to be one. The Philip smiled to himself for job well done. He'd been told by the boss to burn down the school Deadpool's child was attending and make it look like an accident. It was easier than he thought. Not bad for a newbie. Straightening his slick black suit, he was about to leave when he was roughly grabbed from behind and held into a chokehold. Philip tried to get out of the person's grip but failed miserably, his face was now turning purple and he was finding it hard to breathe. Okay, you gonna tell me who sent you all else I kill? At this moment thought the guy was not going to anything, but that thought was thrown away as soon as he felt the chokehold tighten. Crap, I'm gonna die. I suggest you start talking or else. This madman was actually gonna kill him. Oh okay, IW was Marco W who has sent me. He rasped out. Why? The unknown growled out. Fuck IUT has WY. The chokehold tightened even feather making breathing nothing but a dream. Wrong answer, try again. Feeling the chokehold tighten to epic proportions, Philip rapidly nodded his head. The chokehold loosening a bit. Enough for him to talk. He said something about Strick looking out for revenge. Tfa's all I can know I swear. See can you let me be breath. Don't worry about that. Dead people don't need to breath. But that Naruto broke Philip's neck killing him in an instant. It seems dear old dad wants to mess with him. Well. He made the mistake of freeing the beast and throwing away the keys. And worse, he kidnapped the beauty. Strick look out, Deadpool's coming for you. Time to break out the old red suit. Oh. Goody, Deadpool's back. End chapter. Chapter 2. Oh? Yes my lady. I'm so bored. Artemis the goddess of the hunt sighed to herself. Nothing to do, nothing to hunt. She and her second in command Zoe were currently seated on one of the branches of a long tree in the forest. But Lady Artemis, we just finished a hunt like 5 minutes ago, Zoe said. I know but still, the goddess pouted. It's so boring. Zoe just stayed silent at her goddess attitude, they've been together for thousands of years, so this did not surprise her. The two stayed in silence, that was until someone in a red suit, Deadpool's suit and mask, literally stepped on Artemis's left shoulder and used it as a springboard. Sorry about that, beautiful. The man by the sound of his voice yelled out as he flew in the air. Artemis's eyes went wide before they turned in a furious glare. That man, how dare he? Before Zoe knew it, Artemis was already gone. Zoe stayed there on the branch, thinking how in Hades someone would get at the top of this big-ass tree. Shaking that thought out of her head, Zoe was about to give chase when she saw something that shocked her. Blind break. Nathaniel Wilson ran as fast as he could. Damn it, why now? Of all the days, why today? Everything was going smoothly for Nathaniel for the past year. He changed his name to Naruto Uzumaki and finally got into Harvard, then to boost began dating one of the female members of staff. They went out on a few dates, hugged a little, that was pretty much it. Suddenly she just disappeared altogether. Naruto searched high and low for her, but still nothing. So after some time he gave up and moved on with his life, though he was a little heartbroken. Then 2 days ago she shows up at his apartment in Boston with a baby, claiming that the baby was his. At first he was a bit suspicious, but after seeing the blonde hair and whisker marks of the baby's cheeks, he was sure she was his. Everything after that was a blur, doesn't really remember what happened, but after that little Annabeth, Naruto wanted to name her Naruko, mother didn't exist anymore. It was like she was never there to begin with. And now here he was run with little Annabeth in his arms. It seems word spread out that he had a kid and all the enemies he left behind when he stopped the mercenary work came seeking revenge. These guys really hated his guts, they sent a freaking army after him. Naruto's thoughts were cut off when something silver passed dangerously close to his head. In an instant more flashes of silver appeared and Naruto had to dodge them all. Artemis was now angry, fuck that. She was pissed. This boy comes out of nowhere, touches her and then runs away. Who does that? Ah, you pig. Artemis threw a silver knife at the man hoping to end him, but unfortunately for her and fortunately for the masked man he dodged. The goddess was shocked but quickly overcame her shock and summoned her silver bow. A special bow that forms silver arrows by itself. Artemis pulled on it and shot 2 arrows that again the man dodged. Getting frustrated, Artemis increased her speed, then proceeded to deliver a vicious kick to the man's back that sent him tumbling to the forest ground. Shit. Naruto cursed as something hard hit his back sending him falling to the ground, but luckily while falling he twisted in the air, positioning himself in a way that allowed him to fall on his aching back and saving little Annie. Let me hear you cry in pain, swine. What came next Artemis did not expect. The sound of a crying baby. Taking a closer look at the masked man, she saw that he was holding a bundle of white blankets. The man groaned in pain as he shifted on the forest floor, muttering something Artemis couldn't hear. The love goddess kneeled next to the groaning masked man and softly took the crying bundle into her arms. She slowly unwrapped the first blanket, showing a baby with blonde hair and gray eyes that she recognized. This must be a child of Athena, Artemis mused to herself. Also it seems the baby had a set off unusual birthmarks on its cheeks. What the hell are those whisker marks? After thinking things over, the virgin goddess came one conclusion. You stole this baby, you male scum. Said as she began rocking the crying baby. Let's take you back to your mother, shall we? Artemis was about to leave before she saw her second-in-command Zo running towards her. Lady Artemis, baby, Zo panted after reaching the goddess of the hunt. Ah Zo, there you are, this pig kidnapped this baby. Luckily I saved her, Artemis said as she puffed out her chest in pride. You don't understand, my lady, this man, Zo said as she kneeled next to a downed Naruto and removed his mask, showing his handsome face with blonde hair and whisker marks on the cheeks. Just like the baby. Is the father of this baby, and he has currently been chased by an army. And just how do you know this, huh? Just because they look alike doesn't mean he's the father, Artemis said as she tried to calm the still crying baby. SSHHH their child. This pig won't hurt you, I'm here. Zo just gave the Olympian a blank stare before gently prying the crying baby from her hands. She then knelt down beside Naruto and put the crying baby on his chest. The baby instantly stopped crying. Naruto groaned in pain as he held his head with one hand while the other held Annabeth. Slowly and carefully Naruto got up from his place on the ground. What the hell hit me? Naruto rasped out. As his blurry vision cleared due to the hard kick up, Naruto saw in front of him two beautiful women. You there, male, quickly, they're coming, take the baby and go. The shorter of the two yelled out. Not looking a gift horse in the mouth, Naruto was about to run, but his legs gave in and he fell on his knees. He spit out a glob of blood. Damn, that hit sure did a number on him. Did you have to hit him that hard? That was a kill blow, I'm surprised he survived. Enough about me, why did you help this pig? Zo sighed and began to explain that as soon as Artemis gave chase, an army of passed by down below. She managed to capture the last few and interrogate them. It seemed they were all hired to kill the man's baby as revenge. I managed to outrun them, but they'll be here soon. Zo didn't get to finish when a war cry was heard and what looked like more than 60 men and women come running towards them. The rough-looking small army carried with them axes, knives, spears, swords, and some had guns. Artemis stayed silent as she thought things through. Before she could, a voice shocked her out of her thoughts. She felt someone hold her ankle. Looking down, she saw the same blonde man looking up at her with pleading bright blue eyes. Now that she looked closely, those eyes were the brightest she's ever seen. Please a pretty lad take my little Annie, as she's Ali have left, the man pleaded as tears formed at the corner of his eyes. What's your name, boy? Then Naruto Uzumaki. Artemis wanted to smile, yet she could not. A man was kneeling before for her, literally under her foot. But she could not help but feel pity for the man named Naruto. His eyes. Those were eyes of a man who held a lot of love. All of it directed to the little baby girl in his arms. Artemis nodded her head, got the now sleeping baby from his hand. So let's go, the second-in-command said, nothing as she followed her goddess closely. Thank you, pretty lady, I'll buy you some time, the said as he got up and would have fallen had it been for the tree besides him that appeared out of nowhere. Artemis blinked twice, that tree was not there moments ago, maybe it was there, she just didn't see it. Thunder boomed in the sky and black clouds covered the once clear night sky. And rain began to fall. Artemis eyed her father and his temper. Just what the hell pissed him off? Elsewhere on a certain Mount Olympus, two certain brothers were at it again. Oh please brother, air accidents kill more mortals than the sea. Ha. You wish, do you know how many mortals die because of floods? Naruto blinked and felt his back heal and strength slowly come back to him. It was almost as if a dried out plant just received a large amount of water. The first one of the mercs sent to kill Annabeth approached holding two katana swords. The man was a complete amateur and just swung his katanas around, hoping to slice something. But a hard punch to his face knocked him out. Quickly Naruto picked the two blades as the merc surrounded him. Clearly these guys were amateurs, bought at a cheap price. Without any order they all attacked him. One attacked head-on and his head was quickly sliced off. This actually made the others stop in their tracks. Alright motherfuckers, bring it. And what proceeded next was a total massacre. Line break. Artemis let out a sigh of frustration as she cuddled the crying baby that had woken up a few moments ago. Behind her, Zo was finding it hard to stop herself from laughing. The goddess of childbirth failing to stop a baby from cringing was kinda funny. The goddess looked onto the baby's face and the image of the father popped into her mind. Those blue eyes. Not even her father had eyes as blue as that. The bright blonde hair reminded her of her brother, the blue eyes her father. Just who the hell was Naruto Uzumaki? If you're worried about that male so much then why not go back, Zo offered. And in a blink of an eye Artemis was gone. She forgot about Migane. In a flash of silver Artemis arrived in time just to see a blood-covered Naruto face off the last two mercenaries. Naruto pointed his sword at the two and asked. Who hired you? And the reply of one of them was, "Fuck you, Blondie," before he charged at Naruto with his axe. The man jumped in the air and brought the axe on Naruto's head, but Naruto blocked it with one of his borrowed katana. Naruto then slashed upwards with his other sword held hand, killing the merc before he even touched the ground. Seeing this, the reaming one tried to run away. Naruto just threw the katana in his left hand. Before Guy knew it, the thrown blade passed through his head, effectively killing him. Artemis watched as Naruto just stood there. Now that she looked closely, the top part of his red suit, leaving his blood-covered torso. Was he hurt? No. Artemis had seen this before. The sound of someone stopping beside shook Artemis out of her thoughts. "My lady, you left what the Hades is still alive?" Zoe exclaimed in shock. "You're the one that told me to come back for him." "I thought you knew he was alive." Artemis raised an eyebrow at her second in command. "Yes, I meant going back for his body." Artemis just sweat dropped at that. Hearing the voices, Naruto turned around, the two beautiful women from before. Naruto slowly made his way towards the taller of the two, the one holding his life. Getting into her personal space, Naruto was about to get his baby when his body felt him, and he fainted. Right on top of the man-hating goddess herself, half-naked might I add. Artemis should have been pissed. She should have destroyed this pig for letting her lay her hands on his godly body. The keywords bin should have. Instead, she was blushing up a storm. Zoe couldn't take it anymore and was openly laughing at her friend's reaction. "Oh, hush up, Zoe." Line break. Time skip, 5 years later. One Naruto Uzumaki had a big foxy grin on his that attracted a lot of attention from most of the females, much to the irritation of a certain goddess of the hunt. He along with said goddess were attending a talent show at little Annabeth's current school. Parents were everywhere, some chatting among themselves as they all waited for their kids to start. "I can't wait for my little Annabeth to win." Naruto was excited, his little girl was gonna show off her talent. He even made a giant sign that Saijo Annie-chan, you can do this, school those little bitchs. Naruto stopped smiling this instant. Artemis eyed him and his smile. 5 years since that night. Has it been that long? "Boy, Artemis, you're spacing out again," Naruto said as he snapped his fingers in front of her face. "It's starting, little Annie is up next." Artemis just smiled at the man she had crush on, but would never say it out loud. He really loved his. Was now Annabeth's turn to show her talent, which was saying out the elements of the periodic table in a song. And it was safe to say Annabeth had the worst singing voice out there, it was really high-pitched. Artemis turned her head to the side to see Naruto's reaction at his daughter's awful singing. He had the biggest grin known to mankind. Naruto Uzumaki was a happy man right now, his daughter had the best singing voice ever. She was rocking the stage. According to him at least. Then all hell broke loose. Someone began booing right at Annabeth, then another joined in, then another, and another. Almost everyone was booing at the little girl. "Shut up, you bastards." Naruto yelled out, but no one heard him. Annabeth, seeing everyone booing and laughing, quickly ran backstage, with tears in her eyes. It seems no one saw her tears, but certain blonde did and he was pissed off. Artemis looked next to her and blinked. Naruto was gone. Line break. Annabeth sat by herself backstage as she cried silently to herself. One of teachers had comforted her, but it still hurt. Being laughed at hurt a lot, especially for a 5-year-old. Her singing really was that bad. Annabeth closed her eyes and silently wept to herself. Suddenly she was engulfed in a familiar warmth. Only one person had that warmth. Her daddy. Naruto hugged his daughter from behind. "Hey baby girl, you alright?" he asked with concern in his voice. "Be dadathaloggatim," Annabeth said between sobs. She then turned her head and looked into her father's eyes. "Daddy, I sound awful, don't I?" "Wahoo told you that?" "But they laughed at me." "No they didn't, they were laughing at the girl that told the horrible joke." "You just came too early on the stage, the people were still laughing," Naruto assured. "Besides, I was so proud you." "You were?" Of course, how many dads can honestly brag about their 5-year-old daughter knowing the periodic table by heart, huh? At this Annabeth just giggled. "Artemis was watching, she was also proud of you." "She was?" "Yeah, so just go out there and sing till your lungs burst," Naruto said as let go her. "Or by the way, sing as loud as you can, sweetie." With those few words Naruto was gone. Annabeth, you grew up," one of teachers, a female, said nervously as she gave Annabeth a really fake smile. Annabeth steeled herself a walk to the stage. She stared at the people that seemed bit nervous, all of them had fake smiles. And so she took a deep breath, began her singing, louder than before. In the end everyone cheered and she won. It was all a happy ending except for the part where her father got arrested by the police and even SWAT showed up. Annabeth watched as her daddy got dragged into a police car. She was currently with Artemis. "Artie, why has daddy been taken by the police?" she asked. "I stole a bunch of cereal yesterday's night, you know him." That was a lie and she knew it. Naruto, after Annabeth left, threatened to blow up everyone with 5 grenades and a C4. Everyone thought he was bluffing until her threw one of the grenades, without the ping off, outside the window and it exploded. Flashback. Alright motherfuckers, when the little girl comes out I want you all to smile and wave. When she does win you should all cheer. An angry Naruto yelled as he held a C4 pack in one hand and 2 grenades in the other, the last 2 were in his pocket. Flashback end. Artemis smiled at the scene of Naruto getting dragged away by the police. He really loved his daughter so much. Even with Annabeth's terrible singing he still kept a smile on his face. One of the few things Artemis liked about Naruto was his love for his daughter. If every male was like that the world would been at a great place. Artemis, why are you smiling? Daddy's going to prison. Don't worry, it will all wake out because somehow it always does. Only one person could help her blonde friend now. Little Annie's mother. The goddess eyed, talking to your sister who's the former girlfriend of your crush about said crush was going to be interesting. End chapter. Dad, I'm off to school. Yelled out a 14-year-old Annabeth as she headed for school. Okay sweetie, bye. Naruto yelled back. With that Annabeth went out of the little apartment they owned in Boston. The school bus pulled up and picked up Annabeth. Naruto sighed to himself as he watched his little girl get, not predator style, picked up. 14 years huh? Yes, and you haven't changed a bit, said a voice behind Naruto. Without thinking Naruto tackled the owner of the voice, sending them both slamming into the coffee table, breaking it. Naruto then pinned them to ground, his fist raised and ready to strike. My how forceful of you, I like it, Naruto blinked upon realizing who he had pinned. Zo? What the hell, you know better than to sneak up on me like that. Naruto said to the now revealed Zo, who had a smirk on her face. Damn you. Naruto stood up and held out his hand for the downed hunter. Why thank you handsome, Zo said as she took his helping hand. Naruto then helped her up with ease. So what's up? Oh nothing much, just you know. So what brings you here? Naruto asked as he began picking up the wooden pieces on the floor. Zo kneeled down next to Naruto and was about to help him when a bunch of papers attracted her attention. Picking up the papers, Zo began to read through them. Ah, Naruto. Yes, oh? I think Annabeth left her homework. What? Naruto quickly grabbed the papers and looked through them. Shit. Annabeth left her homework answers. He exclaimed. Yeah no shit, was Zo's remark. No time for being sarcastic Zo, Naruto muttered as he thought things through. How could this have happened? Annabeth was too smart to make such mistakes, usually it was him making the mistakes. Come to think of it, he did leave a bunch of his manga lying around. She must have been in a hurry and took my manga instead of the homework. So what now? Zo blinked, she looked around and Naruto was gone. How does he do that? Line break. Naruto ran as fast as his legs could carry him, which was pretty fast considering to everyone else he was a blur. In his hands was Annabeth's orange homework book. The bus must have made it to school, but he didn't care. Annabeth was a perfect straight-A student. If she were to hand in an Eki manga instead of her homework, it would mean detention for her and really cute angry Annabeth not talking to him. With that in mind he increased his speed. After running into obstacles that made no sense at all, a shirtless Naruto made it in time. Annabeth was just about to get a scolding from the female teacher when Naruto burst into the classroom. "The object!" Naruto yelled out, he was currently breathing heavily due to him running non-stop. "I have an Annabeth Shamur right here." Everyone stared as a shirtless lean but muscular man walked into the class. "Ah excuse me, are you Annabeth's elder brother?" The female teacher. She had brown hair, was fairly tall, black eyes and was wearing glasses. "Actually I'm her father." Everyone in the room went wide-eyed at this. "Look at Annabeth's daddy, he's so hot. Wow, his six-pack. Dear God, I'm so horny. I wish my father was that sexy. His whiskers are so cute." Naruto was scared considering those comments came from a bunch of 14-year-old brats. Perhaps this was not the best school for Annabeth. After apologizing to the teacher for bursting and saying his goodbye to Annabeth, he was about to leave when the teacher called him out. So now they were currently outside the classroom. "So Mr. Yu Uzumaki, is Annabeth's mother around?" or she asked a bit nervously. Naruto just raised an eyebrow at this before shaking his head no. This earned a sigh of relief from the brown-haired teacher who had a small smile on her face. "Willie was wondering if maybe you and I could go talk about Annabeth. We could go to that new coffee place, I hear it's quite nice." "Sure, that would be great," Naruto said. Being who he is, Naruto accepted, thinking that maybe Annabeth did something he didn't know about. "So maybe if you gave me your number." "What's going on here?" That melodic voice, Naruto was fucked and he knew it. That voice. The past 14 years has lived with a certain someone, that certain someone should never be angered in any way whatsoever. Turning around, Naruto came face to face with a very pissed off man-hating goddess of the hunt. "Hey Artemis, what a surprise." Naruto was now pale as he received a heated glare from the certain someone that should never be pissed. What are you doing here?" "You didn't answer my question," Artemis said in a calm voice. Inwardly she was angry at Naruto for not noticing that the bitch in front of him was seducing him. "Excuse me, but who are you?" The brown-haired teacher asked, or more like demanded, with her hands on her hips. She was giving Artemis a fierce glare. "Who I am is none of your concern, Naruto. You didn't answer my question," Artemis said. Well, you see, it's a long story," Naruto said as he gave a nervous laugh. "I have time." That was true considering she was an immortal goddess. Well, it all started when I was born. My father decided Naruto began, but he was interrupted. "Mr. Uzumaki, so about giving you my contacts. Would you want my email address, phone number, or maybe we could meet up somewhere?" And the brown-haired woman said, completely ignoring Artemis. This of course made the goddess even more angry. Oh yes, about that again," he was interrupted, this time by Artemis. "No. He can't and he won't." Artemis then went up to him and held his hand in hers. "And why is that?" The brown-haired frowned at this action. The red-haired woman had something for the blonde but was too proud to admit it. Then this was her chance to act now before this bitch grows a backbone. Because. Yes. Is my. Your what? Boyfriend, damn it. Artemis yelled out in frustration. After a moment her eyes went wide, she just called Naruto her boyfriend. She looked at Naruto, who was beside her, his eyes were wide with shock. She was now scared. What if he did not feel the same? Maybe he likes so better than her. But all her thoughts were put down when she saw him smile, that godly smile of his that comes from deep within his heart. There was an awkward silence between three before the brown-haired teacher huffed and made her way back to the classroom. Stop looking at me like that. Line break. So boyfriend, huh? Shut up. Artemis yelled out, but deep inside she was jumping for joy. 13 years, it took her that long to finally grow a backbone and confess her feelings. And it was all thanks to certain goddess. Never in her immortal life had Artemis thought she would go to Aphrodite and ask for advice. Naruto and Artemis were currently seated in the living room waiting for Annabeth to come home. They were planning on watching a movie while they wait. "So what movie are we watching, romance or action?" Naruto asked as he scratched his head in thought. He was really hoping for some romance considering he's done almost all the things you find in a good action movie. "No, none of that. We are watching an action movie with explosions and car chases," exclaimed Artemis as she got up from her seat. Naruto also stood up from his seat. "No, I say no. We are gonna watch a nice cheesy rom-com, yeah?" Naruto shot back. "Action? Romance? Action? Well, I have the remote, so yeah, good luck with that," Naruto said with a smug smile before he was tackled to the floor by an angry goddess. The two then proceeded to wrestle for the remote. After a really awkward and non-sexually movement of bodies, the two were now on the floor with Artemis straddling Naruto. "Ha, I win," she says with a smirk that was soon gone when she felt something poke her from underneath. And Naruto. "Why yes. Please tell me you have a sword hidden beneath your clothing." Well, it depends on what you mean by sword," Naruto said a bit nervously. Well, can you blame him? An extremely beautiful woman who, mind you, is now his girlfriend is on top of him, and not to forget how their bodies were grinding together before. Feeling that maybe he was offending Artemis, Naruto began explaining himself. "Look Artemis, I'm sorry if I'm offending, but I can't help it. I've had something for you since that day I used your shoulder as a springboard. I know you hate men for some reason, but this is my body telling you what it feels." I know, and I'm not mad," she says with a smile as she brings her hands to touch Naruto's face. "I think it's cute, L." "Really? You think an erection is cute? Don't ruin this moment, damn it." The two stayed in total silence, enjoying each other's presence. But the silence was interrupted when Annabeth burst in the room along with two other people. Hey Da, the daughter of wisdom, begun but stopped at what she saw. The room was a complete mess and a really beautiful woman on top of her father. Annabeth came to one conclusion. Oh, I see, sorry for interrupting." She was now blushing along with her two friends who had also came to the same conclusion. Wait, it's not what it looks like," Artemis was the first to defend. A panicked look on her face. "Is it? I mean it kinda does." "Oh, hush up you. Anyway," Naruto says, changing the subject. "Who are your friends, baby?" Annabeth gave a pout at being called baby. "Oh, the girl is Thalia and the b-boy is Luke." Annabeth says, blushing a bit at the mention of Luke. This did not go unnoticed by Naruto. "Okay, the girl can stay, she looks cool, the guy for some reason I hate and should leave soon," Naruto says with a frown. "Annie is too young to date." "But dad." "No buts except for his getting out of my house," Naruto says from his place on the floor. The goddess of the moon smiles at the daughter and father. Perhaps the slut was right about Naruto. Never let the boy stay," she says with a smile that will promise pain if he says otherwise. Fine, he can stay, but if he doesn't make it through the night that's his problem," Naruto says with a deadly smirk. Line break. "Hey bro, guess what?" Naruto was currently on the phone talking to his self-proclaimed brother. "I have a girlfriend now." "Wow, really, that's great, little bro finally has a girl." Naruto's brother replied from the other side. "Listen, how about me, my girl, you and your girl go on a double date tonight. It's gonna be fun." "Dude, I'm not Suru, just started and I don't wanna rush things." "Ah, come on, man. Dinner is at my place." "That's my bro." "Yeah, well, bye," Naruto says as he cuts the line. Great, now how was he supposed to explain this to Artemis? "Daddy?" his daughter called. Naruto was currently in his living room. Artemis had already gone to her place, which was Dammit. What kind of boyfriend doesn't even know where his girlfriend lives? At this, Naruto just face-palmed, getting a weird look from Annabeth. "If you don't mind, may I sit next to you?" "Sure, go ahead," Naruto says as he makes room for his daughter on the couch. "So what's up?" Annabeth takes a deep breath. "There's this summer camp that Thalia's father owns, I wish to go there," she says as looks at her father with pleading eyes. "Okay. Please daddy, just let em wait, what? Okay, just like that. Yeah, just tell me how much we need to pay," Naruto said as he gives his daughter a bright smile. Well, it's free considering I'm Thalia's best friend," Annabeth said. "I thought I was your best friend after we kissed." "Are you still on about that?" "Fine, just make sure you sleep early tonight, I'm going on a date with Artemis," Naruto says as he stretches a bit. "Oh, I see," Annabeth said, looking down, feeling a bit sad. Lately it seems she and her father have been drifting apart. Ever since they had that argument. People usually made fun of the whisker marks on her cheeks, so she decided to start hiding them with makeup. Of course, Naruto wasn't too happy with the idea. This led to their first argument. "Well, I'll be gone in the morning," she says as she makes her way to her room, missing the hurt look that crossed her father's face. Naruto just sighed to himself. Where did he go room? Everything was going smoothly, that was until Annabeth hit puberty. "Well, bet prepare for dinner," he mutters to himself as he goes to the kitchen. Moments later. "Naru, please tell me it's a lie," came a voice behind Naruto. Naruto for his just continued his preparation, already knowing the owner of the voice. "I have no idea what you're talking about, that's a lie." He already knows what this is about. "Why her though, why not?" Zoe shakily asked. Naruto remained silent. "It's because I'm not as beautiful, right?" Zoe asked as she moves forward and hugs him from behind. It's not that." "Then what?" Zoe shouts as her hold on him tightens. "It's because." Line break. After that rather long talk with Zoe, Naruto was now fully prepared, dressed in an expensive black suit that has a red tie and a pair of black slacks. Checking the time on his watch and seeing that his brother is late, Naruto just sighed. His brother was a drama queen, always showing up fashionably late. "You know, the weirdest thing happened," the goddess said as she was now seated next to him at the table. "How she got there without him noticing is anyone's guess. Zoe came up to me and said she wouldn't lose to me, what was that about?" "Well, Zoe also has feelings for me, and she kinda declared war on you for my love," Naruto says as he scratches the back of his head, trying his best not look at Artemis. "Anyway, nice dress." Indeed it was. The goddess of the hunt was dressed in a beautiful red dress. "Sorry, not really good at describing clothes." Naruto don't change the subject, Artemis begins, but is cut off by the doorbell. Naruto gave sigh of relief before quickly getting up and heading for the door. Artemis watched as her boyfriend went to welcome his brother. Which was confusing considering she never knew he had a brother. Suddenly Artemis felt it. Celestial power. It was faint, but still it was there. Now she was panicking. Did they find her? How did they find her? She was suppressing her power to the point it was even less than a demigod's. And by the feel of this power, they are two of them. Maybe she should escape, but Naruto will be heartbroken. Before she could do anything, Naruto walked in with two other people. Her eyes widened at the familiar two celestial beings in front of her. What? Apollo, Aphrodite. Artemis. Little sis. Naruto just looked at the three in confusion. "So I take it you guys know each other?" "You could say that." Moments later. Annabeth sighed to herself, the past week has been an eventful one. She was recently attacked by a monster, but fortunately Luke and Thalia, of course not to forget Grover, were around. "This is illegal," Thalia muttered as she peeked through the door, watching the adults talk among themselves. "Everyone in that living room is either beautiful or handsome." "Annabeth, is that blonde hunk really your father?" Thalia asked as she turned her attention to Annabeth. "I mean, apart from the blonde hair, you guys look nothing alike. Plus he looks too young to be the father of a 14-year-old, Luke said from his place besides the window. Keeping an eye out in case monsters followed them. "The math just doesn't add up." Well, Annabeth began but stopped. Now that she thought about it, her daddy looked to be in his 20s while she was 14. It doesn't seem to add up. "Maybe he's a demigod like us," Thalia said as she walked to a still lost in thoughts Annabeth and took a seat next to her. "Maybe, some of us are still new at this demigod stuff," Annabeth said. "We should ask Grover." But Naruto and the others. One could feel the tension in the air as the four people sat there eating their food in silence. So, Naruto was first to speak. Mind telling how my girlfriend knows my brother? Apollo and Artemis stared at each other before Artemis sighed. Fine, as my twin brother, she then turns her attention to Aphrodite, who was dressed in a beautiful black dress and was busy staring at Naruto like he was piece of candy. What I want to know is what she's doing here. Aphrodite ignored Artemis in favor of staring at Naruto. Well, little sis, you see I had no one to bring and Dite was the last choice, Apollo explained. Now what is this about you being his girlfriend? He asked, a slight frown on his face. Well, don't pin this on me, how did you and Naruto meet? Apollo's frown deepened. It all started when we were both still mercs, in an alley. Flashback. Naruto was walking through an alleyway in the middle of the night. Suddenly he turns around and points his gun at a blonde-haired man. This guy is fast, was Naruto's thought. Said blonde man also had a pair of golden guns pointed at Naruto's head. Who the fuck are you? Naruto asked. Who the fuck am I? Yelled out the blonde man, his guns pointed dangerously to Naruto's head. Who the fuck are you? I asked you first, Naruto said as he glared at the blonde before him. Well, I ask you second, the blonde man yelled as he glared right back. That makes no sense. Your face doesn't make sense. The two glared at each for what felt like hours before the blonde spoke. Apollo. Deadpool, so you're the guy I'm supposed to kill? Naruto asked the now revealed Apollo. Apparently Naruto was hired by someone to take out some guy named Apollo. Yeah, and you must be Deadpool, the now named Apollo said as he narrowed his eyes, a frown on his face. Apollo during his free time goes around as a gun for hire. Recently he was tasked to kill some guy named Deadpool. The one I'm supposed to kill. The two stayed completely quiet, none spoke as God and demigod thought things through. Apollo was hired to kill Naruto and Naruto was to do the same to Apollo. This could only mean one thing. Well shit. I think someone set us up. Yeah, I also think that. At this Apollo just gave the blonde demigod a blank look. So who hired ya? Naruto asked, guns still pointed at Apollo. No. The question is who hired you? Apollo replied. Eyes narrowing in case this guy tried something. About we answer that shit together was all Naruto said. Fine on 3. 1. 2. 3. Pat Tony. Well shit, when I find that fatty I'm gonna give him a vampire C-section like we was Edward and Apollo began but was interrupted by Naruto finishing his sentence. Ella. A wide-eyed Naruto said as he looked at Apollo in shock. Wait a minute, do you like Twilight bitch? He asked in shock. Why yeah I like Twilight bitch, do you like Twilight? Apollo exclaimed. Twilight is my jam motherfucker. Naruto answered. A moment's silence. Soyu team Jacob or Edward. Finally Apollo was first to speak. His gun still held in a tight grip. Just try me bitch, just say the wrong answer and die. Let's answer that shit together. Well played Deadpool, well played. Apollo thought. On 3. 1. 2. 3. Edward, they both blurted out. Another moment of silence. So, we friends now? Naruto broke the silence. Gun still pointed at the blonde god. No, Apollo replied with a frown that quickly turned into a full-blown grin. We best friends now. Nope, I changed my mind, we are not best friends, we're brothers. Naruto now had full shit-eating grin on his face. And that was the start of a beautiful friendship. That is until one finds out that his bro took his sister's V card, but that's a chapter for the sequel. And so the two blondes went on to lay some hell on poor Fat Tony, but with a name like Fat Tony, he probably deserves it. All the while they both had their guns pointed at each other, goofy smiles on their faces. And if one was too apt to look at the grinning fools, he'd mistake them for twins. Flashback end. Artemis just stared at her twin with a look that said, "Are you an idiot?" Aphrodite too was surprised by this. Naruto just nodded his head with smile. "Forgive me if I'm having trouble believing this bullshit," Artemis said as she crossed her hands under her hands and narrowed her eyes at her brother. Just what was he playing at? Was it some prank he was planning? A smirk then played itself on her face. "Oh, Naru, be a dear and go get us some wine." "Okay." Was all a blushing Naruto said as he got up from his chair. But before he could leave he was stopped by the love goddess who wrapped her hands around his. "Ah, excuse me, do you mind? Name's Aphrodite Sugar, and yes I mind," Aphrodite said as she winked at Naruto, making him blush even more. Artemis's eyes narrowed. She was about to get up and intervene when Apollo firmly grabbed her shoulder, giving a look that said don't. "I'd please let him go," Apollo said with his shiny smile. Aphrodite pouted before letting him go, and as soon as Naruto was released he gave Apollo a thumbs up before he disappeared in a yellow and black blur. Leaving a shocked Aphrodite and a stock Apollo and Artemis. Whoa, what the hell? He just teleported. "Sorry to disappoint, but that wasn't teleportation," Apollo said as he gave a knowing smirk. "It was speed," Artemis concluded. She too had a knowing smirk. "Anyway, do you by any chance know Naruto's godly parent?" Artemis asked as she turned to Apollo. Wait, I thought he was your son Apollo. You know, with the blue eyes, blonde hair and not to forget these a bit of resemblance, Aphrodite was now interested in this Naruto character. I thought so too, but sadly he's not. Then I tried checking if his father's child but is not. So after some digging up I figured out who his mother is, Apollo says with a smug smile. Wow, who is she? Aphrodite asked. Artemis kept quiet but deep down she too wanted to know. Well, Naruto's mother is. Line break. How in Hades did I miss that? Artemis muttered. Now everything was beginning to fall in place and make sense. I have lived with him for more than a decade. Yeah, well, we're having cereal for dinner, so there's that. A decade really? And in this time you haven't bumped uglies, Aphrodite said with a sly smirk directed towards the blushing goddess of the hunt. Apollo's smile fell as he saw his sister blush. Perhaps the world was ending. That's shut up, you slut, you the one that said not to have with Naruto, that to just love him without the benefits of making love. Artemis yelled as she stood from her chair pointing at the love goddess, not noticing Apollo's eye twitch. I didn't know what he looked like, with your bad taste in men, I thought he was a tree-loving bearded lumberjack. But now that I've seen and felt him up, Aphrodite now had a faraway look. What do you mean you felt him up? I had my foot rubbing his member the entire time from underneath the table, Aphrodite said as she gave a very perverted giggle. And I think he liked it. It took all the willpower Artemis had to, just kidding, she was being held back by Apollo. How dare you go after my Naru-kun, I'm gonna kick your ass. Artie, use your words please, Apollo said as he struggled to keep a hold on his sister. Just breath and relax. Aren't you Yugami? With Naruto? Shit. Naruto cursed in his mind as he was currently hiding behind a flipped-over car. Gunshots could be heard everywhere as masked men fired at him. Great, just great. Naruto, after buying the wine, was heading home, but he was suddenly attacked by 10 gunmen. And now here he was on a bridge, a dead body next to him. He managed to kill one of gunmen, and so in his hand was gun that had only 7 bullets. Alright readers, prepare for a badly written fight scene, let's go commando. With that, Naruto got up and did a flip, while in mid-air he fired 2 shots killing gunmen that were near him. Landing, he quickly ran behind one of the many abandoned cars. Okay, let's see, in total there were 10, but I unalive 2, so 7 remaining, Naruto muttered over the gunshots. 123, go. After giving himself a mental countdown, Naruto sprang into action. Moving at great speeds, he pointed the gun at his first victim, shooting the bastard in the head. While the dead one was falling, Naruto went to the next guy, punching him in the gut, knocking the air out of him. He then grabbed the man's head and twisted his head, getting a sickening crack sound. He then grabbed the dead man's body and used it as a human shield. The man's body was completely mutilated as a bullet storm rained down on it. Naruto was unharmed as his move towards the next gunman. Naruto then proceeded to throw the minced meat body to the gunman. Disoriented, the gun didn't see the fist that knocked him out. And just like before, Naruto grabbed the man's body and used it as a human shield. And just like his friend, his body was pumped full of lead. Before Naruto could react, he was shot in the shoulder. Quickly he hid behind a car. Shit. Naruto hissed in pain as he grabbed his shoulder. His healing factor taking effect. Thank mother for this. Just then the sound of a motorcycle roaring to life grabbed everyone's attention. Naruto's eyes widened at the person riding the motorcycle. The man on the motorcycle then began to stand on the moving bike. Once balanced, the man then flipped off the bike, sending it crushing into some poor bastard. While upside down in midair, he pulled out 2 guns and begun spinning rapidly, at the same time shooting, effectively killing the rest of the gunmen. The man landed on his feet, not looking the least winded. And in a moment Naruto was standing in front of the man, glaring at him. Said man was a bit taller than Naruto, wearing a black suit with a red tie. The man had a handsome face with long blonde spiky hair and a pair of piercing silver eyes. Hello father, Naruto sneered with a lot of venom in his voice. What are you doing here? Naruto was now on guard as he glared at his old man. Who knew what his old man was up to? Hello to you too, Nathaniel. The blonde said with a small smile. It's been a while. Yeah, like 15 years, you piece of shit, dad. I take it you're still upset, huh? The man calmly asked. Of course I am. But you're the one that left us. Yeah, I thought so. There was a moment of silence between the two. Bros missed you, Naruto's father was first to speak. Oh really? Naruto was shocked at what he was hearing. I thought she hated me. Oh, she does. Saw that coming. But the 3 A's. Things had finally calmed down between the 3 Olympians, though Artemis was still glaring bloody murder at Aphrodite and Apollo. He was smiling. Now, we all calm good, Apollo said as he looked between a frown Artemis and a smirking Aphrodite. Good. His expression now turned serious. There is also the issue to do with the girl in the next room. I know you both sensed it. Yes, but if you ask me, I'm not surprised, Aphrodite said, her smirk now gone. DCH, just like father to not keep it in his pants, why can't he be like Naru? Artemis said with sigh. Men. Ignoring Artemis, Apollo went on. So far Naruto has managed to stay out of the godly side of things. He said. What? Like really? Aphrodite asked with a raised eyebrow. Yeah, he doesn't even know about Camp Half-Blood, Artemis said as she crossed her arms. Why is that? According to my research, Naruto spent most of his childhood training in Japan. Which we all know is in the reign of the Shintos. Bingo. Quick question, Apollo, why are you a ninja or was it mercenary? Aphrodite asked. I wish to know as well, Artemis said as she looked at him. Well, it's been kinda boring the last 100 years or so. And so I decide, hey, why not shake up my life a bit? Apollo explained. But the reason is that he read comic book about a mercenary. And 5 years into the job I met Naruto. Aphrodite and Artemis just sweat dropped at Apollo's half-ass answer. Just then the sound of the front door opening grabbed everyone's attention. Naruto entered the door with a frown on his face and behind him was a tall blonde man with silver eyes wearing a suit with a red tie and black shoes. A small smile on his face. Welcome to my humble home, make yourself comfortable while I grab an extra seat. Naruto said as he walks away passing by the Artemis, Aphrodite and Apollo. What's with him? Aphrodite asks as stares at Naruto back. Forgive him, he's a bit upset I'm here, the blonde man said as he took a seat right next to Aphrodite. Slade Wilson, and I must say it's an honor to be in the presence of Lady Aphrodite, Lady Artemis and Lord Apollo. Aphrodite and Artemis looked shocked at being found out. Apollo just had his usual smile. It's been a while, Wilson, Apollo greeted. While you two know each other, Artemis stood up pointing a finger at Apollo. Aphrodite was just looking at Slade like a piece of meat as she licked her lips. Actually yes we do, now, Slade said as he got up from his seat. He then went to his back pocket and pulled out a golden watch. Then proceed to put the watch on his right wrist. Do you mind telling why the man murdering goddess is in my son's house? And in a golden flash of light a golden giant sword appeared in Slade's hand. Think DC Comics Godkiller swords. Line break. Artemis grunted a bit as she struggled to hold the giant sword at bay with a pair hunting knives. What in Hade's name is that sword? Having sensed a slight build-up of celestial power, Artemis had quickly summoned her knives just in time to block the golden sword. That's it, I'm out, not fighter but a lover. The love goddess shouted as she got up from her chair and went to find Naruto. Easy now Slade, this is a fight you won't lose, Apollo said with straight face. The two stared at the god like he had grown a second head. What? Don't you mean a fight you won't win? Artemis asked, making sure to keep a strong grip on her knives. I know what I said. So yeah. I'll ask again, what are you doing here? Slade asked as he applied more pressure. What is it to you, son of Athena? Artemis was now struggling to keep up with Slade's strength. Before the blonde assassin could utter a word, a golden gun was suddenly pointed at the back of his head. Let me remind you, Wilson, that you were threatening my little sister, Apollo said with a lot of venom in his voice. Sure, he argued with Artemis more times than he could count, but she was still his sister and he'd be damned if he let anything happen to her. Give a good reason why I shouldn't kill you where you stand. He was in full god mode. Because you can't. Damn it, you're right. Wait, what? What do you mean he's right? Exclaimed Artemis. Dare she think it? This man is strong. That sword he's holding is called the Godkiller, and if he slits you throat with it you fade, Apollo said, going back to his playful self. But with both no, you won't kill her. Slade narrowed his eyes. Oh, and why is that? He asked. Because you wouldn't kill your soon-to-be daughter-in-law now, would you? Apollo had a goofy smile on his face. Eastrick had only one thing to say. What the fuck? Moments later. I should have seen this coming, Slade muttered. Things had calmed after Apollo had explained Slade that Artemis was Nathaniel's girlfriend and to Artemis that Slade was Naruto's father. My son is dating the man-hating goddess herself. So you're Naruto's father? Artemis asked. She glared at the man. How dare he threaten her? Sure, she could have easily killed the swine, but then she would have had to use her power. She was avoiding doing that. That sword. The Godkiller swords made by Hephaestus, SP. Himself, Apollo said. Wait, swords as in more than one? Yes, there are two of them, Apollo said as he nodded at Artemis. With Naruto and Aphrodite, oh boy. I left him and my sister to start a new life and now he just walks in like nothing happened. Naruto was in his room sleeping on his bed and on top of him was Aphrodite disguised as Artemis. I know I'm the one that left, but still I feel a bit angry. Naru, just shut up and kiss me, Artemis said as began to unbutton his white shirt. She gives soft kisses on his exposed neck. Oh, Naru, I want you to take me. What? I want you to fuck me, Artemis seductively said as she gave Naruto a wink. She then moved forward, kissed Naruto, and to Aphrodite's delight, he kissed back. End chapter. Naruto sighed to himself as he walked among the people of New York. He had a destination in mind, but first he had to make a quick stop. After walking for a while he found what he was looking for. It was a store. The name of the store was Sweets on America, owned by one Sally Jackson. It's been a while. A few years back Naruto accidentally stumbled upon the store that sold blue candy and foods. Naruto, being who he is, was amazed by the woman's love for blue foods. And not to forget, he asked her to marry him when she made him a bowl of blue cereal. I wonder if she still has the ring I gave her. He thought as he entered the store. Hey there, welcome to oh my god Naruto, is that you? Upon seeing the blonde, Sally literally jumped off the counter and right into Naruto's hands. I missed you so much. Naruto grunted a bit as Sally Jackson jumped into his arms. Sally, it's been a while, he said as he put the woman down. Sally for her part looked at Naruto carefully. It seems he hasn't changed a bit since the first time they met. So how's my favorite female Willy Wonka doing? He asked with a smile that made Sally blush a bit. Oh, you know, same old, I was just about to lock and head home. My son's coming back from school today. Sally said as she gave a smile of her own. Naruto, apart from Percy, was one of the few people that put a genuine smile on her face. But since I like you, I think I can stay for a while. So what would you like? Naruto thought things through before he made his decision. Why don't we go to your place, you make me like 10 bowls of that famous blue cereal of yours and see your son. Naruto said. And before Sally could protest, he was already outside the store. She let out a sigh before Sally began closing up shop. After that was done, both headed to her house. As they walked, the duo talked about old times. And how it felt like to raise teenagers. While they talked, Sally eyed her blonde friend. Something was off about him, yes, he looked a bit sad. But that's not all, he looked younger than before. I must be seeing things, there's no way he looks younger. It's just my brain telling me he looks cute. And with those whiskers I just want. Sally's thoughts were interrupted by Naruto. Sally? Yes. Why are you drooling and looking at me like that? Oh, I was thinking about making 20 blue bowls of cereal for you, Sally Jackson lied, and much to her embarrassment Naruto laughed. Ah, you said blue balls. But that the two laughed all way. This is why. Sally preferred to be around Naruto. The blonde had some kind of calming aura around him, she felt safe around. So how's life with Gabe? Naruto asked, saying the last word with so much hatred. It was clear as day Naruto hated. He even tried killing him once, but Sally begged him not to. If the pig of a man was to die, Percy would be in danger. I don't want to talk about it. He forced himself on you, didn't he? He tried. That son of B. But I punched him in the face and knocked him out. Just like you taught me. She said as she gave him a warm smile. She was one of the few people Naruto trusted enough to tell of his past. He even trained her in a few moves he knew. But enough about me, how's Annabeth? Bad idea. At the question, Naruto's features darkened and an angry look that did not suit the blonde crossed his face. Annabeth's school burned down, Naruto was no shaking with rage. I was too late, the body wasn't found, so I have hope she's alive. Naruto said. I found this in Annie's room. Naruto then took out a small old-looking paper from his pocket and handed it to Sally. Sally's eyes widened when she saw what was written on the little paper. It read. Grover Underwood. Here. Half-Blow D Hill. 8909. Sally somewhat knew who the owner of the card was. She too had the one back home. Say, Naruto, Annabeth's mother, did she leave as soon as Annabeth was born? She asked. Please tell me you found this by accident. What? The blonde asked, confused as he gave a weird look. Naru, just answer the damn question. She all but demanded. As she gripped his shoulders tightly. Please. Yeah, she come by, left little Annie, we had a talk, she and just left. I tried searching for her, but it was as if she never. Naruto was interrupted by Sally. Existed, Sally finished. She then looked Naruto right in the eye. Naruto, let's go quickly. She then grabbed his hand and dragged him with her. Line break. Percy Jackson was not having the best day. First, his favorite teacher at school called him an idiot, then on the way home 3 weird wrinkled ladies eyed him up. Perverts. Grover was acting all weird and lying to him. How did he know Grover lying? Because Grover was a really bad at telling lies. Then he ditched Grover at the bus station. Now that swine Gabe was giving him trouble, asking for money when he just got here. No, I don't have any. Percy said, but Gabe didn't look like he believed him. You took a taxi from the bus station, he said. You probably paid with a 20. You got $6-7 in change. Somebody expects to live under this roof. He ought to carry his own weight. Am I right, Eddie? Come on, Gabe, Eddie said. The kid just got here. Am I right? Fine, Percy said as he dug a wad of dollars out of his pocket and was about to throw it on the table when he heard the opening of the door and voice of his dear mother. Percy, you here? Sally Jackson's voice rang out as she appeared in the doorway of the room. Percy. She exclaimed as she ran to him and enveloped him in a big hug. You have grown so much. Mom. Percy said as he returned the hug. Sally, I'll be honest, this place is a dump. Naruto whistled as he looked around the apartment covered in chips and beer cans. And here I thought you were neat freak Sally. Before Sally could answer, Gabe interrupted. Who the hell are you? He asked as he and his buddy stared at Naruto. Before Naruto could answer, Sally did. Is an old friend. She blurted out. We just came here to catch up. Percy was having a hard time believing her. An old friend. This guy looked like he was 21. Percy eyed the so-called old friend. He had long spiky blonde hair, really blue eyes, whisker marks on his cheek. He was wearing a tight orange shirt that showed his muscles. He was tall, a well-built body, not too tall not too buff. And he wore black loose pants with white Converse. On his right wrist was a golden watch and on his back was a red bag. Yo, name's Naruto Uzumaki. He said as he flashed a smile which made Sally blush a bit. This did not go unnoticed by Percy. And he came to one conclusion. Dear God, mom's having an affair. He thought in horror. Sure, she deserved better than Gabe, but still. The man, Naruto, then made his way to the living room. Percy glanced at his mother, she looked nervous. So tell me how everything went, find anything scare you? She asked as they made their way to his room. As they took their seat at the edge of his bed, Percy thought things through. Ms. Dodd's trying to kill him, perverted old women stalking him. Yep, he defiantly found something that scared him. Swallowing his heart, he spoke. No, Mom. He lied. Well, alright then, she said as she looked at him. I have a surprise for you. Really, what? We're going to the beach. Montauk? He asked with wide eyes. 3 days, same cabin. When we do we go? He asked with excitement. He really loved that place and of course no Gabe. It's just him and Mom. And Naruto's coming with us. Percy frowned at this. Bean dip, Sally, didn't you hear me? Came the voice of Gabe as he appeared at the doorway. Now Mr. Gabe, Sally's been working all day. She must be tired. Naruto said with a smile as he grabbed the fat man's shoulder. How he got there without them knowing was mystery. This doesn't concern you, blonde, so just butt out. Gabe barked as he tried to pry the hand off his shoulder. Sally is mine, damn it. Yours, huh? Say, Gabe, do you remember me? The blonde said as his smile turned into a frown. His grip on the meaty shoulder tightening. And no. Well, last time I was here you annoyed me, so I punched you in the face, knocking you out cold. Naruto said as a twisted smirk crossed his face. That's why you don't remember. Quickly Sally stepped in before things could get ugly. Don't worry honey, we were just talking about the trip, she said. Babe's eyes got small. The trip? You mean you were serious about that? We were, but don't worry about your dip. I'll make you a 7-layer dip just for you. That should last you all the weekend. That way you won't even need me to be here. Sally assured. This better be coming out of your clothes budget. I be paying for it. Naruto said as he let go Gabe. So don't worry Sally. Naruto, I can't. Well, I can. Now Gabe, how's about you and I go back in the living room for a chat? Before Gabe could protest, Naruto roughly grabbed him by his shirt, pulling him. Sally and Percy just stayed silent. Sally was worried and Percy confused. With the latter's thoughts being what the fuck. Living room was silent, well apart from the ESPN on the TV. Gabe's friends were still on the poker table. Look, I hate you. I fucking hate you. And I'm sensing that you hate me too. Naruto said as he folded his hands on his chest. Yes, oh? Gabe asked, not looking interested. So I'm gonna fight you, and to make things fair I gonna say every move. Naruto said as he got into a fighting. So punch to the stomach. With that fist met gut. Gabe dropped to one knee as he grunted in pain. You son of a bee. Kick to the face. Naruto said as he kicked Gabe in the face hard, sending him flying into the table, the poker table breaking it. Gabe's friends stood and tried to rush him. Well, this will be fun. Mom, what did he mean by he punched Gabe? Percy asked his mom as they packed his clothes for trick. Sally let out a sigh, this was coming. Might as well be honest. When Naruto came over you were just a little boy. He picked a fight with Gabby, as a result Gabe got his ass kicked. She said. How do I not remember this? When you saw how Gabe got knocked out, you laughed so hard that you passed out. Sally said as she gave chuckle. That's what happened. Percy just kept on laughing and laughing. You woke up after some time when Naruto left, but when you saw Gabe's face you laughed even harder and passed out for 2 days. Why? Percy found himself asking. Why don't I just show you, Sally said as she brought out her phone. Naruto still kept it. She then showed him the pic. Upon seeing the pic Percy's eyes widened. What the fuck? He then proceeded to laugh. Ahaha. Sally watched her one and only son laugh his ass off. And just like last time he passed out. At least he didn't pee himself this time. Came Naruto's voice as he entered the room. I've convinced Gabe to let us go early, Sachip chop. Naruto then went and grabbed Percy's bags. Okay, let me just make the dip hand. Babe said it's okay, so just go make the blue cereal. Oh okay then. And 30 minutes later they were in Gabe's car. Percy was in the back seat, passed out. Sally was a bit nervous. What happened between Naruto and Gabe? What would await them once they came back? "Relax, Sally, everything will be okay," the blonde seated next to her said with a smile that did not reach his eyes. Naruto was sad. And if that card was what it was, maybe there was still hope for him. With that, the car was off to its final destination. Percy had woken up some time back and talking to his mother, while Naruto had fallen asleep in the front seat. But he would occasionally mutter, "I'm sorry." Naruto's dream. She shook her head as she hurriedly got off the bed, covering her nakedness with a bedsheet. "I'm so sorry I did this to you." She then ran away and he followed. As soon as he got outside room there she was fully clothed. Wearing the same dress she wore at dinner. She was staring at him with shock as tears freely fell from her silver eyes. Just behind her was his brother in all but blood. His usual smile replaced with a frown. His father was nowhere to be seen. "I actually fell for you, and to think I was going break my," she said as she wept her tears. "I thought you were different, but it turns out I was wrong. You're just like all men and just like all men I hate you." She spat as she stormed off. He just stood there shocked at what just happened. She was the one that kissed him. She was the one that asked him to do it. Just what the hell was going on? Those were the last words she ever said to him. And they kept on playing in his head non-stop. "I hate you. Remand." Naruto woke up. Naruto woke with a shock, his blue eyes quickly took in his surroundings. He was in a room that had 2 beds, and he was currently on one. Looking around he saw that he was all alone, which was weird cause he heard someone call him. Getting off the bed, the blonde stretched a bit. After that, it was time to explore. Naruto closed the door behind him as took in the fresh air of the beach. Not too far away was Sally and her son Percy, it seemed they were having a moment so he went the opposite direction. As he walked he couldn't help but recall his nightmare of what happened. It seemed no matter what happened he'd always be alone, everyone always left him. Forever alone, huh? He muttered to himself as he took his shirt off. Throwing it away he continued to walk towards the sea. "I hate you." He then got rid of shoes, socks and took off his pants, leaving him in his boxers. Finally he reached the sea. Ignoring the coldness walked right into the sea, taking it all in. Someone like him deserved to be alone. First he lost control of himself and hurt his own little sister, so he left her. Alone. Then he started a new life with Athena, but she too left him. Alone. He walked even further into the deep blue. Then he found Artemis, someone he had so much in common with, someone he would get with, but then get back to laughing with. Someone who helped him raise and brighten his little light, Annabeth. But sadly it wasn't meant to be because she too left him. Alone. He went even deeper. It was getting hard to breathe but he didn't care. Zoe, she was fun to be around, always teasing Artemis, but deep inside he knew that she felt something for him and he too felt something for her. But how could he love one and leave the other? If he took both, it would seem like he wanted them to satisfy his lust. Sadly she left the same day Artemis did. Alone. And finally his light. She was gone. The one thing that stuck with even after they all left was now gone. Annabeth was gone. Even after she promised never to leave him. "Daddy, what's wrong, why are you crying?" Annabeth asked him. As she ran to him, quickly Annabeth grabbed the wine bottle at his side as tossed it away. "You're drinking." Honey, what's up, when did you get back?" he asked as he got up and wept his tears. "Nothing happened, it's just Artemis left, that's all." He put on a fake smile, but she saw right through it. "When will she come back?" "She's never coming back, sweetheart." That's when he fell to his knees. "Daddy, I'm so sorry," she said as she hugged him. And at that moment he let all out. Here he was using his own daughter as a shoulder to cry on. He was pathetic. "Anya, please don't leave me." "Don't worry, Papa," she whispered in his ear in a sweet tone. "I will never leave you. For you are mine and I'm yours. My body is here for you." He didn't really pay mind to those too busy crying his soul out. Until now. His focus was lost. Well fuck. Salt water filled his mouth and straight into his lungs. Gagged and choked as his face turned blue. He was suffocating to death. Death alone. These two words went well together, people always die alone. Maybe he too should just suddenly two slender arms pulled him up from the water and before he knew it he was out cold. Line break. Blue's eyes opened in shock as their blonde owner got up but stopped as his head crushed into something or better yet someone. Sally yelped in pain as Naruto's head crushed into hers. She was currently straddling the blonde. Sally, after making sure Percy went to sleep, had gone out to look for the blonde and had found him passed out on the beach. Quickly she went to check on him. "Naruto," she said as she looked at him straight in the eyes. "Sally." Naruto felt like right now. Here he was thinking he was alone, but Sally was there the entire time. "Oh my gosh, Naruto, I thought something terrible happened." When Sally was cut off by Naruto putting his lips onto hers. Her eyes widened in shock before she relaxed and kissed back. Suddenly Sally found herself on the ground with the blonde on top of her. "Saloplis, don't leave me alone," he said as he stared down at her with pleading blue eyes. "I won't, I promise," she said as she slowly opened up her blue robe showing Naruto her body. "Because I love." With that Naruto kissed her and they had a night of passion besides the sea, under the moon. Elsewhere a certain goddess stared at the full moon with sad silver eyes. The one she had loved had tried to kill himself. She let out a sigh as her second in command appeared behind her. "I thought you said you were done with him?" Zoe asked as she glared at Artemis. "Now here you are stalking him." Zoe was met with silence. Not going to say anything. Finally Artemis spoke. "I was reading his thoughts, he was lonely. It hurts to see him in the hands of another," she said as tears leaked from her eyes. It hurt, it really did. Seeing someone you love with another. It was the first time she was experiencing something like this. Perhaps it's for the best. Perhaps it is. End chapter. That night Naruto couldn't sleep. Why? Because he was feeling something similar to survivor's remorse. Here he was with Sally when his daughter was out there probably dead. It was great seeing Sally really it was but he was on a mission to find his daughter. With that Naruto got off the bed he had shared with Sally for the night. Clad in only his boxers, Naruto made his way towards his red bag. Opening the bag it was filled with a few things like fake passports, an extra pair of clothes and lastly 2 silver pistols. Getting the extra clothes he closed the bag. Putting on the clothes Naruto was now dressed in an orange shirt, black pants and a pair of white Converse. If his dad could see him now. Dressed in orange. Naruto looked back to see Sally on the bed soundly sleeping, a smile on her face. Damn it. Why was it so hard? All he had to do was walk out of that door. But Sally was making it hard for him. With a sigh he threw his bag away and went to the kitchen to make himself some cereal. "Okay, let's see, whole wheat or chocolate cereal?" he asked himself as he grabbed 2 boxes off the shelf. He stared at the white cereal box in his right hand and the brown box in his left. "May I suggest the whole wheat?" a voice at the back of his head suggested. Nodding, Naruto put the chocolate cereal back. Ever since he could remember he could hear a voice at the back of his head when asked his father about it, all he said was that it was his conscience. "It's really good for your teeth." "Oh, okay." Naruto after finishing the whole box of cereal went back to bed. He felt sleepy for some reason. As he slept he had a dream of the good old days, back when things were simple. Elsewhere. "Thanks so much, I owe you for this one, Morpheus." "Not a problem, my lady," the now named Morpheus said, but suddenly was punched in the gut hard as he fell to one knee. "That was for the dream you gave him in the car." She then proceeded to kick his faceherd. I didn't do that. I don't care if it was you or Hypnos, from now on my baby boy is going to have pleasant sweet dreams about cereal. And those dreams better not be about that moon bitch niece of mine. Is that clear?" Morpheus rapidly nodded his head as he held his broken nose. "Good, now then I'll be off and do not tell anyone of this, especially my brother." Later that night. Loud banging could be heard throughout the cabin as someone banged away at the door. Blue eyes snapped open as Naruto jumped off the bed. Quickly he spotted as it opened it and pulled out one of the pistols. He ignored Percy's shocked look as Sally, who had covered herself with bed sheets, hugged him close. It seems the heavy knocking and thunder must have woken the two. Naruto went to the door as the knocking got louder. Naruto swung the door wide open and pointed his gun at a certain familiar face. Grover was beyond surprised as he stared at the man in front of him. "Uzumaki." He blurted out. "See what I did there? You, I've seen you before. You were Annie's friend 2 years ago." Naruto exclaimed over the pouring rain as he stared at the soaking wet teen. The last he saw this boy was 2 years ago. He along with Thalia and that Lou kid were Annabeth's friends from school. Grover seemed to ignore Naruto as his attention turned to Percy. "You left me at the station, what were you thinking?" Sally had a look of horror on her face as she looked at Grover. She then turned towards Percy. "Percy, what happened at school? What didn't you tell me?" she yelled over the rain. "We don't have time to talk, it's right behind me." "Percy, what happened at school?" Sally stared straight into Percy's eyes, but the boy was in shock from his dream and seeing his best friend. "Percy was attacked." This time it was Grover who answered. Sally's eyes widened and her face turned pale. "Naruto, take the kids to the car now." Quickly she ran over to a bed to change into her clothes. Naruto dumbly nodded his head as he went over to Percy and grabbed him. "Just what hell is going on?" he asked as he pulled Percy out of the cabin and into the pouring rain. The Grover kid was already at the car doors open. Naruto thought things through as he waited for Sally. His mind trying to make sense of what is going on. So Sally's kid was attacked and this boy that knows Annabeth suddenly showed up. Maybe he knew where Annabeth was. Sally suddenly appeared dressed in her pajamas and a blue robe, his red bag in her hand. "Naruto, get in the car, I'll drive," she said, leaving no room for argument. Once in the car and everyone was strapped in, Sally punched the Gus and the Camaro was off. They had been on the road for a while with Sally driving like a speedy demon. Naruto was still trying to piece shit together. He really wanted to ask her what was going on, but Sally looked like a woman on mission. So he kept to himself. Finally the silence was broken. "So Grover, you and my mom know each other?" Percy asked, finally getting out of his funk. "Sort of, she doesn't exactly know me, but she knew I watching over you," he said. He then turned his attention towards Naruto. 2 years ago I was sent to look after Annabeth." Naruto's eyes widened at this. He was about to ask what the boy meant when he suddenly felt dizzy. His vision began to get blurry, and the last thing he heard before losing conscience was Sally calling his name. "Dream." Naruto found himself in what looked like an open forest. As he stood up he took in his surroundings. The forest was the most beautiful one he'd ever seen, that's saying something considering he's been around the world. The only thing that was missing to complete this beauty were the animals. The vegetation was there and for some strange reason he knew all of them by name. "Where am I?" he asked himself. "Somewhere you haven't been in a long time," came a voice from behind him. Turning around, Naruto saw a beautiful red-haired woman standing there, looking at him with a smile. For some reason to him she looked familiar. "Hello Naruto, welcome to your mind." My mind?" he asked, confused as to how it was possible for one to go into their own mind. "That's impossible," he denied. "I assure you it is possible for you, Naruto Uzumaki. But if this was my mind, shouldn't I be called Nathaniel, my real name?" he asked. "No time for that, the reason I brought here is simple," she said as Naruto listened on with interest. For the life of him he could not remember where he had seen her from. "Your world is about to change, so keep an open mind." Suddenly the forest itself began to shake, an earthquake. Naruto thought as he looked around in shock. "Crap, I'm out of time." The woman yelled as she looked around, panic. Naruto listen, whatever she was about to say was cut short due to the world literally going black. "Remand." Naruto woke with a gasp as he found himself upside down and ears ringing. A bit out of it, he looked to the side. Sally was okay. She looked like she was saying something, but he couldn't hear shit. "Well, what happened?" he asked, his senses coming to. "We were hit with lightning, now come on." Sally yelled as she undid her seatbelt. "Doing them same Naruto." Suddenly loud stomping could be heard coming down the road. Those who could look down the road to see a very large figure lumbering towards them. It looked like a big man with something covering his head and had his arms up high in the air like sharp points or something. "Everyone out of the car now," she yelled as she kicked the door open and scrambled outside. Naruto, being in a situation like this before from an old job, kicked down the car door and was out in an instant. Quickly he went around and ripped off the back car door. Throwing it away he then grabbed the knocked out Grover and slung him over his shoulder, not noticing the boy's lower half. "Naruto, Percy, do you see that giant tree on top of the hill?" Sally said, pointing at a large pine tree that towered over all the other trees. "Head straight for it and don't stop. Over that hill you'll see a big farmhouse down in the valley, run and don't look back. Scream for help, don't stop till you reach the door." Naruto had noticed her use the word you instead of we. Could it be that she was trying to sacrifice herself? None of that. Not her too. "Percy, catch." He then threw Grover over to Percy, who grunted a bit at catching his best friend. Before Sally knew it, Naruto had carried her bridal style. "Percy, let's go." Percy nodded a thanks to the older blonde before they both broke into a run. "Food?" Grover groaned from his place on Percy's back. "Really, food? Kids his age dream about doing it with girls, all he's dreaming about is food." Naruto muttered before a loud roar was heard. "What the fuck?" The two running slowed down upon hearing the roar. Turning their heads around to see what was happening, they saw Gabe's car getting thrown out of the way by whatever was after them. "Ha, in your face, Gabe." Grunting and snorting noises could be heard as the large man ran towards them. As he got closer, Naruto and Percy could see that the man was really tall, like 7 foot tall, and had large meaty hands swaying from his side. His upper half was all furry and fuzzy. His head was very large and bulky, was also covered in fur. Running through his nose was a shining ring, and on his fuzzy head were 2 large horns with very sharp points on the ends. "Oh no," Sally said from her position in Naruto's arms. "I don't want to be that guy, but what the heck is that?" Naruto asked as he picked up the pace. "We have to go. It's after Percy." Sally replied. "That thing, Mom, it looks like the..." "Don't say it's named Percy. Names have power." "Sally, what's going on? Why is that thing after you, son?" Naruto asked. Everything happening was making little to no sense. Why was a genetically deformed abomination chasing after a kid? His brain came up with all the scientific explanation for this, but he still fell short. "Really need to stop getting myself into these situations," he thought. He was looking for his daughter, nothing more, nothing less, and he ends up getting chased by a bullman of things. What the hell? "I don't have time to explain, please just trust me," Sally said. Naruto nodded at this. Glancing back he saw Percy slowing down a bit. Truth be told he was faster than this current speed he was moving at. He didn't want Sally to feel the pain of losing one's loved child. He could easily slung Percy on his back, but the Grover kid would make things complicated. They could just leave the boy, but he had information on Annabeth. The pine tree Sally talked of could be seen about 100 yards or so up the hill. Their chaser was now gaining speed. His sight and hearing are terrible, his going by smell. But soon he'll find us. Sally said. How soon? Naruto asked, and as if to answer, the Minotaur roared in rage. Well shit. The monster was now picking up the pace and getting closer to them. Suddenly the Minotaur appeared behind Percy. Hey kid, look out. Percy did as wise and rolled to his right. The bullman went right past him and straight into a tree. Nice one. Naruto said as he slowed down, reaching the pine tree. So Sally, what now? He asked. Naruto put me down. I'll be going back for Percy, Naruto said as he gently put her down. Sally had a frightful look before she nodded. Just come back safe, please. Sally said as she pulled him in for a kiss. I will. He said, and Naruto Uzumaki always keeps his promise. With that Naruto left in a blur towards Percy and Grover. Believe that. Line break. Percy grunted as he tried helping Grover up. Who the hell sleeps through all this? He thought. The Minotaur had recovered and was now on his tail. In mere moments it was in front of him and Grover, arms raised ready to strike. Before its beefy hands could pound them to dust, the Minotaur was suddenly hit by a blur that sent it back a bit. Landing on the ground, Naruto grabbed Percy and Grover while the Minotaur was distracted. His legs tensed as he leaped off the ground with enough force to leave cracks on it. As his feet touched the ground, Naruto broke into a run at full speed. It was safe to say that the monsters was left very far behind. Naruto gave a small smile as he saw Sally run towards them. See Sally, I told you. Naruto's words fell short as there was a flash of bright light. Everything seemed to slow down as lightning fell from the heavens. Thinking fast, Naruto threw Percy and Grover to the sides. He tried to avoid the bolt, but not even he was faster than lightning. Boom. The bolt hit home and Naruto was sent flying. His body crushing into the trees. Pain was all Naruto felt as he lay trampled through the chest by a branch. He was literally hanging from the tree, blood gushing from his wound. The left side of his body was burned badly, including his face. As he opened his eyes, Naruto was greeted to a sight that would forever haunt his dreams. The Minotaur was holding Sally by the neck. Naruto tried to scream, but he could not. His blood was filling his lungs, he couldn't breathe and was choking on his own blood. Yet the only thing on his mind was Sally. Moving his only working right leg, he pressed his heel on the tree and pushed with a lot of force. Please no, not Sally, no. He kept on pushing. Why am I so weak? Tried again. First Athena. He pushed harder, it was working. Then Artemis. It was working, just a little more. Zoe. Just a little more. Annabeth. Little more. But not Saliniver Sally. Do you want power, Naruto Uzumaki? Yes. I can't hear you. Yes. Then use me. Line break. Just as the monster squeezed and Sally disappeared in golden dust, a giant golden sword suddenly swiped down on the monster's hand. The sword cut through the hand like hot knife through butter. The Minotaur roared in pain as it gripped its stamp of a hand with its other hand. Naruto had used up all his strength on that attack and it didn't work. I'm a failure with it, he passed out. Not knowing that his actions had just helped Percy. You truly are pathetic. Yeah, I know that, Naruto said as he stared at a carbon copy of himself seated in a golden throne. The only difference was that this Naruto had blood-red eyes. The lookalike was wearing a pure white toga that was made from the finest of material. You know it's no fun when you admit it like that. The blonde on the throne said as stared at Naruto with a small smirk. If it was me, Sally would still be around. Is that so? And who are you? It's simple really, I'm you. The blonde on the throne said as he stood up. How? Naruto asked confused. Considering that I'm you, here's a really simple explanation, you know Bleach the and I'm right. The red-eyed man explained. Naruto nodded his head with excitement at the mentioning of one of his favorite anime. Well, I'm more like your hollow side being, I only come out when you're in Rome. Why Rome? The man shrugged his shoulders. You know what they say, when in Rome. They do say that, don't they? Oh, looks like you're waking up now. I guess this is goodbye for now. The blonde man said as he gave Naruto a small wave. Wait, what's your name? Naruto yelled out as his body slowly turned to golden dust. Me? I'm the great king of heroes, Gilgamesh. But just call me Gil. As whatever it was vanished, Blue's eyes opened and the first thing they saw was gray. The first thing he thought was Athena. But that wasn't Athena, Athena was not blonde. But he knew someone who had Athena's eyes with blonde curly hair. Annabeth. Gray eyes filled with tears as Annabeth stared at her father. Daddy. She said as tears fell from her eyes. Annabeth had found her father next to the recently found demigod. The black-haired teen had dragged him along with Grover beyond Thyla's tree. When Annabeth found her father, he was dead. No heartbeat and had half of his body burnt beyond recognition. Even though he was disfigured, she still knew that he was her father. How? Who knows, she just did. He was dead. She checked his pulse. Hell, he wasn't even breathing. She had cried the whole night. While hugging his body. She didn't even notice that his wounds were healing until Chiron pointed it out. Annabeth had called for help and Chiron, along with a reluctant Mr. D, had come. The bandaged hand wiped the tears off Annabeth's face. Naruto stared at Annabeth. In his heart was joy. He was happy beyond belief. She was alive and okay. Hold. What if he was dead and this was just a dream? What if he was dying somewhere and was being shown the one thing that mattered to him the most? Please don't let this be a dream. Please be real, he said as tears filled his eyes. Of course I'm real, Dad. Annabeth replied as she too held his face with both hands. Really? He asked as he embraced the warmth of her soft hands. Really? She assured as she leaned down. I have a lot of questions. Yeah, so do I. You go first, Daddy. Annabeth said as her face was almost touching his. Why am I naked and why are you on top of me? Then it hit her, Naruto was half naked and she was straddling him. Annabeth's eyes switched from the chair beside the bed to her father's bare chest. Though it was covered in bandages, one could see how well-toned and muscular it was. Welly. Unconsciously she traced his chest with a delicate hand. The hand went downwards, tracing his six-pack. The hand was about to go further down south. Manny, what are you doing? Naruto asked, confused. Why, Daddy, you perv. Line break. After a few unexpected events, Annabeth and Naruto were now outside. Naruto was dressed in nothing but a pair of orange cargo shorts. His bandages were long gone, leaving his well-toned chest bare and shown to the world. Let's go, Mr. D and Chiron want to have a word with you. A blushing Annabeth said as she dragged him with her by the hand. Dad, please try to keep an open mind and don't attract attention to yourself. What, I don't do that. As they walked, Naruto took in everything that he saw. It confused and at the same time amazed him. The architecture of almost all the buildings resembled ancient Greece. There was an open-air pavilion, a large amphitheater, a circular arena that had a lot of training dummies scattered over it, with a few kids slashing away at them with swords. There were white marble columns sparkling in the sun. In the nearby sandpit, dozens of high school-aged kids and half-goat persons played volleyball. What the fuck? Yelled out as pointed at the people with bottoms of what looked like goats. Annie, are you seeing this? Annabeth just her eyes at her. Dad, you said you wouldn't make a scene. Anyway, those are called satyrs. You say it like I'm supposed to know this. Naruto said as they moved on. I'm not sure I'd approve of my child playing volleyball with bunch of little freaks. Why are they like that anyway? Did a human do it with a goat or we in Narnia? Glancing at Annabeth, he was about to ask. Annabeth, seeing the look of excitement on Naruto's face, knew exactly what he thinking. No, this not Narnia. She told him with blank stare. Are ya sure? Positive. They moved on. Naruto saw a lake with canoes glided across it. Kids in bright orange t-shirts were jazzing each other around a cluster of cabins nestled in woods. Some shot targets at an archery range. Others rode horses down a wooden trail while some flew on horses with wings. Wow. I'll explain later, come on, Annabeth said. As she pulled him along with her. Naruto simply nodded, trusting his daughter. As moved, they headed over to large building. Bigger than the rest that had an open porch. On the porch were two people sitting at a small table playing a card game. As they neared, one of the two turned to them. Annabeth, he greeted as the girl nodded at him. And it seems our guest is already up. Please take a seat. The man in the wheelchair said as he pointed to a chair next to him. My name Chiron, it's nice to meet you, Mr. Chase. Naruto glanced to his left, then his right. He saw no one near them. Me? He asked, confused. Who the hell was Mr. Chase? The man, Chiron, seemed confused. He glanced at Annabeth, who was looking to the side, avoiding eye contact with everybody. I'm sorry, but are you not Annabeth Chase's father? Chiron asked. Annabeth was now nervous. Crap. I was so happy to see Papa, I forget to bring up ideas to counter this moment. Chiron and Mr. D saw me crying and calling him father last night, so lying is out of the question. Sure, why not, Naruto said through gritted teeth. It's nice to meet you, Chiron, please call me Naruto, please. If you don't mind, I'll be standing. Naruto was in a strange place. One of the first things his father taught him was always making sure to keep his guard up. Of course, I would like to introduce you to the camp director, Mr. D, Chiron said. Naruto looked to the other side of the table to see a man on the chubby side wearing a leopard print shirt. He also had messy black hair. Nice bread, I see you don't miss No Shave November. Naruto said as he stared at the man who nodded in approval. Oh, I like this one. Welcome, come to Camp Half-Blood, I guess. Mr. D said as he gave a small chuckle. What a weird name for a camp. Naruto said as he looked around. So on my way I was attacked by a half-man half-bull motherfucker. Then got struck by lightning, somehow I survived. Then I wake up, find my missing daughter in a camp full freaky shit. Now, please tell me what the fuck is going on. Well, to start off you are a demigod. You thought you were mortal. Just a regular person just like everyone else, however that is untrue and far from the truth might I add. You along with Annabeth are what is known as a half-blood or a demigod. Chiron then went on to explain how the Greek gods from old stories, myths existed to this day. Over the years they moved from country to country, continent to continent, until they eventually came to America. From time to time they come down to Earth and as a student of mine put it, they hook up with mortals. Naruto nodded, a sign that he was following what Chiron was saying. This camp is a place where many demigods like yourself come to train, meet other demigods. From time to time even a quest is issued though one has not been issued for some time. For many Camp Half-Blood is a place that many have come to call home, due to them not being able to live in the mortal worlds, due to their scent which attracts monsters just like the one you encountered last night, or they simply don't have anyone to go back to. When you say no home to go back to, Naruto trailed off. Having taken the seat offered to him. Well, it could be their parent is dead or are being kept by bad parents. I see, maybe, I win. Naruto yelled. It seems while Chiron was explaining he was playing poker with Mr. D. Damn it, it's like I'm fated to lose. First Chiron now you, the man sighed and in a flash of purple there was a bottle of wine on the table. He was about pour himself a glass when Chiron spoke up. Mr. D, your restrictions. Chiron said as Mr. D rolled his eyes. Right, forget. Father really enjoys punishing me. Mr. D said. Suddenly Naruto grabbed the bottle so fast even before Mr. D could make it disappear. That was cool. So I take it you're one of them gods? Naruto asked as he inspected the wine bottle. Mr. D nodded his head. Cheval Blanc 1947 huh? I must say you have very good tastes in you by any chance the wine god. Yes I am, Dionysus. May I? What? May I say it? Fine say it. Opa. I don't follow, Chiron said as he looked at Annabeth who shrugged her shoulders. Let us go and check on Percy, before that get you father a shirt please. Annabeth who had a blush on her face, rapidly nodded her head. Line break. If one glanced at the big house they could see 3 people around a table on the porch playing poker. One was Naruto, the other Dionysus, and the last was Apollo. Apollo had explained everything which was a surprise to Naruto. Apparently Athena and Artemis were goddess. And that Zoe was second in command in Artemis's hunt. Dionysus wasn't really focusing on the two, but rather he was trying to win the game due to him having a losing streak. This should not shock you bro, Apollo said, his face hidden behind his cards. I did tell you I was a god. What, when was that? Asked Naruto who was hidden in his own cards, making sure not to show anyone. I'm pretty sure would have remembered if my brother told me he was god. Flashback Vietnam. In a jungle one could see 2 blondes wearing camouflage soldier clothing. Both were hiding behind a large tree that had fallen over. All around them were solders shooting at them. Bang. 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 Well shit. Naruto shouted over the loud sound of gunshots. Apollo, if you die please don't haunt me, he said as he reloaded his own machine gun. Hey, it's not like I can die or anything. Apollo replied as he fired his gun towards the enemy solders, killing a few of them. You can, but I can't. Bang. 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 Oh really? Naruto asked as he too fired at the enemy solders. It's not like you have a healing factor like me. Bang. 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 Yeah that's right, but I'm a god so I'm immortal. Apollo said. He went to one of his pockets and brought out a grenade. Eat grenade motherfuckers. Then flashback. Oh, you were serious about that. Of course I was. I win. Exclaimed as he showed his cards. In you faces. I'm out, muttered Mr. D as he took a sip of his coke. Apollo was about to collect his winnings when Naruto spoke. Sorry Apollo, but it's a royal straight flush. He said as he showed his deck. Apollo cursed as he watched Naruto grab all the winnings. A goofy grin on his face. Apollo let out a small smile as he watched Naruto. His fellow blonde was happy he found his daughter. Even though Artemis dumped him, he managed to pick up the pieces. Naruto was pretty upset when he was told that Athena just hooked up with him. Apollo wasn't sure whether she felt something for him, but he was sure Artemis loved him. Aphrodite was starting to fall for Naruto, if her asking what his favorite things was anything to go by. Even though Naruto has had a lot of shit thrown his way he still managed to get through it. And as always he was right here. Oh right, let's celebrate. To Naruto for finding his daughter, Oppa. Oppa? Sure why not, Mr. D lazily said as he summoned bottles of wine and wine glasses. Who wants some? Oppa? Oppa? Broken plates and empty wine bottles could be seen all around the porch as Naruto, Apollo and Mr. D danced in a circle. Naruto and Apollo had goofy grins on their faces while Mr. T's face was blank. Oppa. Oppa. Oh oh. This was the horrible scene Annabeth come to. After finding an orange t-shirt that could fit her father and a few things like toothbrushes, soap, shit like that. Oh okay, I think I'll just put this down, she said as she put the box she was carrying on the porch. I'll go now, slowly she backed away. Looking around, there were a few campers gathered who watched scene. Some danced to the music while others laughed at the scene. After grabbing his t-shirt, a shit-faced Naruto wandered through the camp. As he walked, everything started to spin, and before he knew it, his world went blank. Naruto woke with a gasp as his blue eyes scanned the area. A strawberry field. Of the places for a drunk Naruto to wake up to. Well, that's the last I accept a drink from Apollodum, muttered Naruto as he tried getting up only to wince in pain due to the headache. Hello there, came a voice. Are you hurt? Then no, just a hangover, I'll be good, Naruto said as he looked at the owner of the voice. It was a girl with leaf green eyes and mild tanned skin. She wore the orange shirt the campers wore and a dark green skirt that went just above her knees. To finish, she wore green shoes. Hi, I'm Naruto, what's your name? I'm Katie Gardner, daughter of Demeter, the now named Katie said with a smile. It's nice to meet you. Likewise, Naruto said with a smile of his own. Say Katie, do you think Annabeth is going to leave me? Naruto asked. Currently he had his head resting on Katie's laps as she fed him strawberries. Because I changed my name and run away from home. Maybe she might do the same, right? No. Maybe she won't. What do you think? He said as he opened his mouth and Katie dropped a strawberry in it. I mean, I killed people for a living, my whole family did. During a job I lost control and well, my sister got hurt, let's leave it at that. What do you think? Katie just gave blank stared before she spoke. Naruto, I'm 11, she deadpanned. Just ask her when you get the chance, okay? And this Sally woman, Lord Apollo said she's alive, right? Naruto did his best at giving a nod. Well, why not move on or something? Yeah, but. There you are. Came a voice. I've been looking all over for and just what is going here. I have to get this strawberry somewhere. Katie said as she gently removed his head from her lap. Bye, big brother. The daughter of Demeter said as she stood up and ran to God knows where. Big brother? What was that all about? Naruto looked up only to see a pair of blue and white stripped panties. Annie, that you? Naruto asked. As he looked away. Of course it is, now get up. Annabeth, who was standing right on top of Naruto, said. Due to her orange skirt Naruto could see everything. Yeah, just stop flashing me. He perv. Moments later. Naruto and Annabeth could be seen walking closely together with the latter having a blushed face. So if you want I can show you around. Annabeth suggested. Sure, why not, Naruto said with smile which Annabeth mimicked. You're taking this well, Annabeth said as she glanced at him as they walked. You and me being demigods and all. It really baffled Annabeth how her father managed to stay calm after finding out that he was half god. She literally freaked out upon finding out. Well yeah, Apollo explained everything to me, Naruto said. Besides, my old man gave me this, Naruto gestured to the gold watch on his left wrist. Really, what's that? It's a god-slaying blade, apparently. Okay, let's move on, Annabeth said. So that building you were dancing in was the big house. Where you were was the strawberry fields. Naruto nodded his head as he listened to his daughter. A few teens around Annabeth's age could be seen running around. Some looked older while others looked younger, all of them dressed in orange t-shirts. Should those kids carry around swords? Naruto asked, referring to the kids with swords, others bows, and some even had maps and books. As they walked by, many of the campers glanced at Naruto. It had shocked them that all this time he never knew of the camp. But mostly it was the girls that paid a lot of attention to Naruto. Of course, this was due to him walking around half naked. A couple of girls belonging to Aphrodite cabin waved excitedly at him, to which he waved back. So who the hell is Frederick Chase? Naruto asked as his hair shadowed eyes. Indeed, just who was this Mr. Chase? Apparently Annabeth had checked in her name as Annabeth Chase instead of Annabeth Uzumaki. Well, it's a funny story, Annabeth nervously said as she glanced around. And a long one at that. I have time. Well, you see, oh look, the cabins. Why don't I go show you where you're sleeping? Annabeth said as she tried to avoid the conversation. Naruto was about to say something when suddenly someone appeared. Hey Mr. Naruto. Luke called out as he came running towards the father and daughter. I heard you were in camp. I don't have time for you, Luke the castrator. Annabeth was just about to tell me who Mr. Chase. Naruto turned his attention back to Annabeth only to find her gone. The only thing there was a dust trail. Damn it. The cause. I don't care. Naruto snapped. He really hated this kid's guts. What do you want? Tyron said I should show you the dining pavilion, Luke said, not even fazed by Naruto's outburst. For some reason Naruto had hated him from the beginning. Come on. Yeah, whatever. Moments later. As Naruto and Luke entered the dining pavilion, it was filled with campers to the brim. Campers could be seen laughing, chatting and for some reason fighting among themselves. But all that stopped when all turned on him. There was an awkward silence as Naruto followed Luke to the Hermes table. As he passed by the other tables, Naruto couldn't help but glance at Annabeth, who was trying her best not to look back. The table she was seated at was filled with kids young that had gray eyes and blonde hair. Apparently Athena has a thing for smart blondes. He recalled the words of Apollo. Suddenly a plan formed in his head and deadly smirk played on his face. Annabeth actually sunk back in her seat at seeing the smirk on Naruto's face. This must be for Chase thing. It's the new demigod. I heard he got his ass handed to him. He doesn't look that tough, he is easy on the eyes though. Is Suo cute with those whisker marks? Luke led Naruto over to the Hermes table. Make room guys, he said as the table shifted a little as Naruto took his seat and to his displeasure, it was next to Luke. Mr. Naruto, meet the Hermes table, Luke said as he gestured to the occupants of the table. They all smiled at him and Naruto smiled back. At the front Mr. D got up from his seat a bit reluctantly, he let out a sigh before he spoke. Everybody listen up, we have a new camper here. His name is Nathan Sodiver, ask what you want to know. Mr. D said as he took seat. This job is a troublesome. That last sentence seemed familiar to Naruto, but he shrugged off. What's your name? Hey blonde, is it true you got your ass kicked by the monster? Are those whiskers real? What's with you and Annabeth? Naruto stood up and the question silenced. My name is Naruto Uzumaki and yes it's Japanese. For the second question no, I got struck by lightning before we could fight. Yes, these are very real. And for the last one a smirk crossed Naruto's face. Annabeth is mile over. A moment of silence until. What? And? Artemis sighed as she made her way towards Athena's temple. Naruto was recently arrested after he pulled that stunt with the grenades at Annabeth's school. Of course she could easily bust him out of jail, but that would just mean more trouble for Naruto. So after dropping off little Annabeth and making sure she was safe with Zoe, Artemis made her way to the only author goddess that knew Naruto that could actually help. Athena. Taking a deep breath and hoping this does not turn out to be the mother of all awkward conversations. Artemis knocked on the giant doors. Sister, I wish to speak to you. A few seconds passed before a voice was heard and the doors opened. You may enter. The goddess of the hunt entered what could only be described as a giant library. This library held almost every book that ever existed. Wait. Did that mean it also had smut in it? Damn it, she's been spending too much time around a certain whisker-marked blonde idiot. Having already been here before, the goddess walked straight to where her sister was. Spotting her sister, Artemis quickly made her way towards Athena. Artemis, to what do I owe the pleasure of this visit? Having trouble with a monster? Athena spoke, not even bothering to look up from her book. Her storm gray eyes focused only on her book. None of that, I need help with something else. Artemis was now feeling nervous. She was so not looking forward to this. Oh? And what could that be? Athena still had her nose buried in the book she was reading. This of course infuriated Artemis. What could that be? I don't know, maybe it's about your freaking boyfriend and daughter who I've been taking care of for you. Calming her raging emotions, the goddess of the moon spoke. It's about Annabeth Naruto Uzumaki, something happened. As soon as those came out of Artemis's mouth, the goddess of wisdom gasped and dropped her book, her gray eyes wide with shock. Then Naruto, quickly, she cleared her throat and picked up the book she was reading. What about Annabeth? Is something wrong? Even though she had a calm look on her face, one could feel the worry in her words. Artemis shook her head no. No, it's something to do with her father Naruto Uzumaki. The wisdom goddess let out a small sigh. What about him? She asked as she put the book on a shelf. Well, listen, mortal jail and it's kin to my fault. That was a lie, it was entirely his fault. Athena stared at Artemis with a blank look before she spoke. Artemis, you kill and castrate men just because you want to. So why is Naruto Uzumaki any different? She asked with a raised eyebrow. Those swines had that coming to them, besides this is different. His different. His honest, funny, caring and loving. Artemis said with a somewhat dazed look. This of course Athena saw. To his daughter, that is, he's his daughter. Anyway, his daughter isn't old enough to take of herself yet, and with her father in jail, things could bad for her. Rubbing her forehead, the wisdom goddess let out sigh before nodding her head. Fine then, take me to Naruto. With a nod, Artemis took a few steps towards Athena before she put a hand on her shoulder. In a flash of silver both were gone. Naruto raised an eyebrow in curiosity as the cell door was opened by an officer who looked like he ate way too many donuts. The cop's eyes widened upon seeing Naruto seated by himself. The other occupants of the cell were all piled up in a heap at the corner of the room. Naruto, you're out. The man said as Naruto's eye twitched in irritation. Calming his nerves, Naruto asked. What, how? The fat man gave a smirk that showed his disgusting yellow teeth. "Your little girlfriend came in with her lawyer and sorted things out," he said. "Girlfriend?" That had to be wrong, Naruto Uzumaki did not have any girlfriend. Apart from 3 people he knew. Zoe was a friend, but he doubted she liked him that way. Apollo was his friend, that's for sure, but the fat fucker standing in front him said girl, so he was out. Artemis he was sure did not like him that way, so it couldn't be her. But imagine his surprise when Artemis stepped into his cell, a small smile on her face. The blonde smiled back as the two stared at each other. The world around them was practically gone as Blue stared in Silver, both were happy to see each other, even though they were separated for less than a day. It still felt like years. Sadly the moment was ruined. "Your girl is certainly hot, you don't mind if have fun with her, right?" The room went deathly quiet as the fat cop grabbed a lock of long beautiful red hair and inhaled its scent. Artemis was mad. In fact downright pissed. How dare this he touch her? No, he was allowed to her, only one he was allowed to touch. Not this pathetic waste of space. Before she could bring forth her silver knives, the only he allowed to touch her acted. Upon hearing those words, Naruto acted without thinking. In a burst of speed he was in front of the cop. He kneed the fat bastard in the gut so hard that the man almost fell to his knees. Note the term almost. Before he could hit the ground, fat bastard was hit with an uppercut so powerful that his head was sent flying off its body. The impact the head had with the ceiling was so strong that the ceiling could not hold, and the head drilled a hole right through it. Both Naruto and Artemis stared at the hole in the ceiling with shocked expressions. Artemis was shocked at what Naruto just did, and Naruto was shocked at because of why he just did that. "Run." The first to come outer state was Artemis, quickly she grabbed his hand. And in a burst of speed both were gone. As the two ran out of the police station at great speeds, Naruto's eyes met storm gray eyes. They belonged to a woman with black hair tied in a ponytail. She was wearing glass over her eyes. Both seemed shocked as time seemed to slow down. Time began to go back to normal and Naruto vanished. Athena was shocked at how fast Naruto moved. The occupants only saw a blur move by. But she saw it clearly, no demigod or human should be that fast. After investigating the reason why Artemis and Naruto had suddenly left, she manipulated the mist and made sure the man that Artemis killed had never existed. Pretty sure Artemis killed, considering all evidence was pointing towards her. The man's head was literally punched off. And there was only one person that could do that at the time. "Crap, I messed up bad," Naruto said shamefully as he looked at Artemis apologetically. "Sorry about that." "No need of apologizing, my lawyer has everything under control," Artemis assured. They stayed in silence before Artemis spoke. "Why did you do that anyways?" Naruto, who was sided, looked at Artemis. He contemplated on telling a lie would be a good idea but decided against it. I'm not really sure myself. When he said that I just got really pissed, and when he touched you I kinda snapped. Sorry about that," he said. The goddess grabbed his hands and easily pulled him up. "No, it's okay." The two stared at each other and slowly began to lean for what looked to be a kiss. "And just what is this?" The two yelped in surprise and quickly separated from each other. Zoe glared at the two suspiciously. Annabeth, who just woken up, came into the room. She cutely rubbed the sleep out of her eyes as she looked around. Her eyes land on her father and she let out an excited squeal before running to him. The blonde easily caught his daughter as she jumped into his arms. "Daddy, did you see? I won," she said excitedly with large grin. Of course you did," Naruto said as he matched his daughter's grin. Adding to the fact both had large grins and whisker marks on the cheeks, this was a scene that Artemis and Zoe would never forget. "Oh my father, Zoe, get camera. Right away, Lady Artemis." Next flashback. "I actually fell for you, and to think I was going to break my," she said as she wiped her tears. "I thought you were different, but it turns out I was wrong. You're just like all men, and like all men I hate you." Artemis spat as she stormed off. Apollo watched all this play out with wide eyes and a frown on his face. Glanced at Naruto, so he was just as shocked. The blonde's bright blues that had a fire in them were now dull with tears in them. Apollo saw his best friend fall to his knee. Naruto was punishing himself, thinking it was his fault that Artemis left. Apollo was one of the few gods that was always calm and never quick to act if someone insulted him. There was a line. If no one crossed it, that was fine. But someone has. Aphrodite. She crossed the fucking line. And Apollo was pissed. "Let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor," a deep voice sang. The god of war was in high spirits today as made his way towards a certain love goddess's place. Had started a civil war in small country, and of course it wasn't like the world wars, but it still made him all tingling and inside. An explosion nearby knocked him out of his thoughts. Quickly sensing a fight, Ares grinned evilly as he broke into a run. "Aphrodite," came the voice of an angry sun god. The temperature on both Mount Olympus and the mortal world were at its highest. Some of the minor gods and nymphs residing on the Olympus fell to their knees due to the power of Apollo. The sun god's blonde hair was now a mane of pure golden flames, his blue eyes turned gold and were glowing with power and rage. The pissed-off god was currently standing outside Aphrodite's palace. "Get out here now." The angry god yelled out but got no response. "Fine bitch, have it your way." Apollo stretched out his right hand and a gold bow appeared. He then used his left hand to pull the string of the bow. As he pulled the string, a golden arrow covered in brilliant golden flames formed. With a devilish smirk on his face, Apollo let go of the string. Boom. Boom indeed. The flaming arrow all but vaporized everything in its path. The giant doors that were guarding the love goddess were gone. Showing what looked like the inside of a Barbie doll house to the world. Except the Barbie doll house was on fire. Aphrodite didn't bother moving from her position on the floor. She was seated on her king-sized bed when suddenly everything went boom and her bed was no more. It would more than that to kill a goddess as powerful as Aphrodite, so when the room was burnt to nothing she was unharmed. Besides, Apollo didn't use his full power. Once on a date with her he had explained that he could literally fire arrows as hot as the sun. So she didn't flinch when a golden arrow was stuck in the wall a few centimeters away from her head. Apollo never missed, so he didn't plan to kill her. I missed. Maybe not. Aphrodite watched as the part of Apollo's tuxedo burned away from the power he was releasing, leaving him in only his black pants and shoes. His golden flaming hair, beautiful golden eyes and a well-toned lean but muscular torso. Apollo looked downright handsome. Aphrodite didn't notice him move until she felt a strong grip on her neck and was lifted of her off her feet. "Why?" Apollo asked as he held the love goddess by her neck. Instead of words, what came out of her mouth were choking noises. He tightened his grip and tears filled Aphrodite's eyes. Aphrodite closed her eyes, she would have smiled if she could. She deserved this, she only wanted to see if he loved Artemis or just lusted after her. She was only to trick, but he showed love to her. Aphrodite felt jealousy burn deep within her. She had searched for thousands of years for one to love her. For someone to love and just see her as a fucktoy. But then Artemis, who wasn't even looking, found someone who loved and not lusted for her body. Why? It wasn't fair. Suddenly a grunt was heard and she was suddenly dropped to her feet. Aphrodite coughed and breathed in air as much as she could. She opened her eyes as she rubbed a sore throat. Apollo's right hand, which he was choking her with, was being held in the firm grip by Ares. "Boy blonde, what the hell?" he asked as he tightened his grip. "None of your business, oh just fuck off." Apollo's free hand was covered in golden flames before he quickly used said hand and punched the god so hard that he was sent flying. Now. I was jealous. When Artemis came to me for advice about a man, I knew she had fallen for someone. I was filled with joy about this and I wanted to meet the lucky man. When you took me out to see your friend's girlfriend, I knew I had to act. I formed a plan to see if he truly was in love with her. All it was just lust. When I made myself look like Artemis, it was a plan to see what he would do. He loved her. And I felt jealous. I wanted to be Artemis. At the table when he looked at me, I didn't feel any lust or love for me. But when he looked at Artemis, it was love and joy. He felt joy and would constantly smile at her way when she wasn't looking. I wanted to be looked at like that. Not just hungry stares of lust. But with joy and love. At that moment I wanted to be Artemis. And when I was, he looked at me with love and joy. Aphrodite was now openly crying. "I'm really sorry." "Then apologies to the little girl that will never be born," Apollo said in a low voice. "I saw the future. They had a daughter." He finally yelled out. Even though they suffered the wrath of the river Styx, they were still happy and later managed to overcome the curse. Artemis later stepped down as goddess of the hunt and give that position to Thalia, whom father made goddess. He said softly as tears leaked from his eyes. And now that future was gone. His little niece who he was supposed to spoil with love was gone. He felt like killing Aphrodite, but it wasn't her fault. After all, he too looked at her with no love but lust. Suddenly Apollo let out a gasp as his golden eyes turned white. The tall tale sign that he was having a vision. Aphrodite watched as Apollo smiled and began to mutter things under his breath. Though she couldn't hear them, Aphrodite managed to make out a few words. Like harem, luckily bustard. After a vision ended, Apollo couldn't help but smile. Suddenly he looked back and saw Athena staring at him, as if trying to read his mind and see what he saw. He winked at her before turning to Aphrodite. His smile gone and replaced with frown. Athena, Aphrodite, Artemis. Not sure if he's to feel happy or sorry for his blonde friend. Though it will be amusing to watch, chuckled to himself as if laughing at a joke no one knew. XD. Ares let out a deep chuckle as he removed himself from wall he was punched in. Cracking his neck, the god wiped off the golden blood on his lips with the back of his hands. Since when did Blondie get so strong? Laughing to himself, the god had an insane look on his face as disappeared in a burst of speed. This was going to be fun. Apollo moved to the side just as a gunshot was heard. He looked to the side and saw his brother Ares smirking at him. His shotgun then morphed into a double-edged sword. "Let's dance, Blondie," Ares roared as he charged at Apollo. "Fine then, let me at least get in a shot before he kills you." A golden spear of light formed in his hand as he charged at his fellow god. Hello, misplaced aggression. Spear and sword clashed in a show of power. Apollo and Ares were at a stalemate as both held their ground. But Ares wasn't the god of war for nothing and easily overpowered the blonde god. Apollo saw this and quickly moved out of the way just Ares fell due to the strength he put into his sword. Ares may be strong, but Apollo had speed on his side. After all, nothing was faster than the speed of light. As Apollo moved away, Ares put right forward in time to stop his momentum. "So you have been holding back, huh?" Ares' face had an insane look as lounged at his brother. The clashed as sword was on offense and spear on defense. With years of experience, Ares managed to disarm his opponent. "Any last words, punk?" "Yeah, witness the might of light, bitch." Apollo outstretched both his hands and a blinding bright light emitted from them. Ares was momentarily blinded, then something hard smashed up against his face, breaking his nose in the process. Apollo had summoned a golden round shield that had a triangle with an arrow passing through it, making a letter A. Apollo then proceed to throw the shield at Ares, who dodged. "Ah, you missed." "Did I?" The shield bounced off a wall, came back, hitting Ares in the back of the head. Apollo easily caught the shield as strapped it to his arm. He then gave a "come here, Morton" to Ares. "The O of this?" Ares yelled in rage as he was about to release his godly form when suddenly thunder boomed and lightning struck, forming a bright light. Apollo, who had seen it coming, covered his face with his shield while Ares was blinded. When he lowered his shield, the king of the gods was before him. "Disappointed in you too. Especially you, Apollo. Translations: I'm proud of you. Attacking you own brother, we shall talk later." Translation: I'll forget this happened. Now heal your brother. With that, the king of the gods flashed out, blinding poor Ares, who had just recovered. Apollo let out a chuckle before he threw the shield as hard as he could. The shield hit home and Ares was now blind and unconscious. With a sigh, Apollo went to his brother, knelt down and began healing him. It's the least he could do after misplaced aggression. "Just who is Naruto Uzumaki to you?" Athena glared daggers at her brother's head as if trying to read his eyes. "And most of all, what is he to Artemis?" Still she received no answer. With a huff she left. If now one was going to give her answers, then she would get them herself. Stalker alert XD. Apollo smirked as he saw his sister stomp away. Everything was as it should be. As he finished healing Ares, he stood up and turned to Aphrodite, who flinched. "As for you, live long and prosper." He then teleported in a bright flash. Artemis sighed as she sat at the very edge of Mount Olympus, her feet dangling in the air. It was a flaw in the design of Olympus and only 2 people knew about it. She had heard and witnessed what happened between Apollo and Aphrodite. And now she was confused. Suddenly someone appeared and took a seat next to her. Artemis leaned her head against Apollo's shoulder as they both stared at their chariots. This special place was found when the two were children. Apollo had angered Artemis and was being chased around Olympus by her. Accidentally he hit a wrong turn and suddenly found himself almost falling off Olympus. Luckily Artemis had caught him. "He loves you, you know that, right?" he asked as she nodded. "Yeah," she answered. "Okay, just checking." The sun gave light to the moon and the moon in turn stopped the sun from burning the world. That was their relationship. The moon would stop the idiot sun from burning the earth while the sun was there for the moon. "What about you, do you love him?" "Once, I did. But no, it's more of a brother kinda thing." "Whatever you say." "Artemis." Apollo called out, his voice quiet. "Yes. You have really big feet," he exclaimed. "What, they're perfectly normal sized feet," Artemis exclaimed as she glared at him. "Yeah, keep telling yourself that. I once saw Zo use one of your shoes as boat." He laughed. "What, when was this?" "Last month." She did not. "Did too." "Did not." "Did too." The sun and moon, though contradicting, still had each other's backs. Even if the moon pushed the sun off a cliff. "I curse you, Bigfoot," Apollo yelled out as he fell. "Oh, that's it." Artemis called forth her hunting knives and jumped after him. Though she had a smile on her face as she fell. The sun and moon had each other's backs. Even if the sun was an idiot. The end. So first part is a flashback. Athena looked on calmly as one of her demigod daughters, Annabeth Uzumaki, was being pushed around by a few of her classmates. "Just because you're smart doesn't mean you're special." A fat girl sneered as she pushed Annabeth to her fellow friend. "Yeah, just because she's pretty she can get all the boys. Whore. Slut." Athena stared calmly as her daughter got pushed around. To be honest, Athena was proud of Annabeth. Her daughter was trained by the trainer of heroes himself. She was trained to fight monsters 10 times stronger than mortals, so it would be easy to handle her tormentors, but Annabeth just stood there with a blank face. Even after the girls begun dumping dirt on her hair. Though her face was a perfect mask of calm, Athena's fist was tightened to the point that her knuckles turned white. If she could just. No. She was a goddess, she was beyond this. The girls then got a bucket of muddy water and poured it on Annabeth. Oh, that is it. Athena was about to strike the girls with the worst disease she could think of when an adult came into the scene. It was a brown-haired woman. Athena sighed in relief at this, maybe the adult will defuse the situation. Oh, how wrong she was. The woman just went there, patted one of the girls on the head, and with a smirk she was gone. Athena stared wide-eyed as the woman walked away, just like that. What the fuck? The goddess was now pissed, she watched as the girls walked away and left Annabeth be. The blonde demigod picked herself off and made her way to the bathroom. Though she couldn't do anything, Athena knew exactly who could. Cop. Hello, Mr. Naruto. An old lady greeted as a blonde man walked by her in the hallway. The blonde man known as Naruto turned around and gave the old lady a smile. Oh, hello to you too. Naruto greeted as he opened the door to his apartment. In his hands was a bag of groceries. I'm fine, the old woman smiled. So what can I do for ya? Naruto asked once he got his door open. Still trying to set me up with your granddaughter? Not today, the woman smirked. But I won't stop trying. This came for you in the mail. The old lady then handed Naruto a package wrapped in brown paper with a golden owl at the top. Naruto blinked twice, then rubbed his eyes. How did I not see that? He muttered as he got the package. Thank you. You're welcome. After that, Naruto entered his house, arranged his groceries. Once that was done, he sat down and unwrapped the package. It was a closed box. He opened the box and found another box. He blinked at this but opened the box anyway and found an even smaller box. Naruto rolled his eyes at this as he opened the box. Inside this box was a memory card. Naruto just sweat dropped at this. All that build up for nothing. Naruto got the card and put it in his phone, hoping to God that it did not have a virus or something. Naruto searched through the card and all he could find was a video. Naruto opened the video and watched it. His reaction was from interest to shock to fear and then rage. He quickly got up and went to his room, once there went under the bed and grabbed a black baseball bat. He stared at the baseball bat for a while before he narrowed his eyes. His was turning back now. Annabeth school. Everyone was gone, she was left alone, well apart from the security guard taking the night shift. All the little brats that made her day a living nightmare were gone. All she had to do now was prepare work for tomorrow and she was home free. As she finished writing down notes that she'd rewrite on the board, the door to the classroom slowly opened. She looked up from her notes and saw that it was a man. A man she recognized, though he was dressed oldly. The blonde man who she knew as Annabeth's father, Naruto Uzumaki, walked into the classroom. His odd attire was a skin-tight crimson bodysuit that was black in the shoulders. His hands were covered with the same colored gloves with the material on his fingers black. Around his waist was a black utility belt and to finish off his look, he wore black combat boots. He walked towards her until he reached her table. His face held a smile. Hey there, he said as he slammed his hands on the table, making her jump a bit. He stared at her for a few seconds before his smile turned into a frown. It's kinda rude not to answer. Oh sorry Mr. Uzumaki. She answered a little scared. Though her fear faded when he smiled at her. So what's with the new getup? Oh, this. Just doing some live action role playing in the neighborhood. So I thought I should swing by. Is that okay? He said. It's fine, she gave him weak smile. God, he looked so hot that suit. It was so tight that she could see his well-toned body. So is your girlfriend here? We broke up. Oh, Sarito hear that. No, she wasn't. She was jumping for joy. He was now single. Would you like to talk about it? Please say no. No. Yes. Well, how about we go for a late night snack, I'm starving. She smiled. He was now hers. Yeah, that would be nice, the blonde said as he outstretched his gloved hand and held her cheek. You know, my ex-girlfriend once made me promise something. His hand slowly moved to the back of her head. She leaned in and felt him gently caress her hair. She told me never to harm any woman, so long as I live. But now his grip hardened on her. I think I might just break that promise. Before she knew it, Naruto slammed her head on the table. Though it wasn't hard enough to knock her out, he made sure it was hard enough to hurt. This bitch. How dare she? Why? Naruto said as he lifted the female teacher by her hair. He made sure she saw him. He saw that he had broken her nose. No matter, it was going to get worse. For her, that is. Why would you do that to my daughter? Silence was all that met Naruto. Answer the fucking question, all else, he warned. Why you rejected me? She managed to say. Her nose was bleeding like no tomorrow and it probably hurt. So I'm at our little girl's life a living nightmare. Naruto's face was blank as he glared at the woman in front of him. He had promised Artemis that he would never, ever kill or harm a female. Sadly, she wasn't her. I have to break a promise," he said as he grabbed the baseball, but he that was hidden on his back. "Whatever your name is." He didn't even know her name. "When you go to hell and meet death, tell her I'm now single." What followed next is so inhuman and brutal that I'm not allowed to write it. So just use your imaginations and imagine a blonde man hitting a pile of mincemeat with a baseball, but that has female clothes scattered around it. After that, Naruto grabbed the class register and was on his way. The register stated that Annabeth had missed 2 weeks of school and was being punished with detention. Which was a lie considering that he made sure that she got on the bus every single fucking day. He checked the grades and found that his little girl was at the bottom of the class. That was wrong considering that she was slightly smarter than him. And that's saying something. At the bottom of class were a few girls, but which ones were there? Ones that bullied Annabeth. He could ask the pile of meat, bone and hair next to him, but she was dead. He had to do this the old-fashioned way. The register held information such as parents' phone numbers and where each child lived. So that night he went to each and every house on the register. Agnes walked to her home with a smile on her face. She had just kissed a few boys on makeout point. Her mother would yell at her for coming home this late, but her father would do anything. In fact, he would support her. So imagine her surprise when she sees the house dark with no lights on. She slowly entered the house and yelled out to her father. But no answer. She went straight to the living room. It was dark as well. So imagine her surprise when she turns on the light and sees her father and mother tied to the chair with their mouths covered over with tape. Agnes did the only thing she could think of, she screamed. The girl screamed for what felt like hours before the lights went out and she finally stopped. "Finally you stopped screaming," a voice said from everywhere. It was getting annoying to be honest. The scared girl looked around the dark room in search of the owner of the voice. "Who are you?" she yelled, only to feel a breath of air at the back of her neck. Then the voice spoke in a low whisper. "I'm the magic man." Agnes tried to scream again, but a gloved hand covered her mouth. Now I'm gonna ask a few questions and you will answer, okay?" Agnes nodded her head rapidly. "If you answer wrong, I will kill mommy and daddy. Okay?" She nodded her head again. "Good girl. Now I will show you a video and you tell me the names of all your little friends. Good dad." Agnes let out a whimper as she nodded. A phone was held up in front of her and a video begun playing. She watched the video with wide eyes. It was her along with friends. After that, the video ended and the hand pressed on her mouth was removed. She screamed again, this time even louder. Naruto groaned in frustration as he watched Agnes scream. This time the little mongrel screamed even louder. When he first arrived and knocked at the door, a woman answered. Though said woman had a black eye and a bruised cheek. She warmly welcomed him in. The mother was kind, but the father was mongrel. He was rude and a downright mongrel. Man, he sure liked using that word today. He showed the video to the two and asked them if they could talk to their daughter about it. The mother looked down in shame and apologized for her daughter. The father on the other hand laughed and said he was proud his daughter. After that, Naruto beat the crap out of the father, then tied him and his wife who he did not harm in any way. He turned off the lights and waited for the little mongrel to come home. Mongrel. Mongrel. It just felt so right to say that. These people, all these were people beneath him. They were nothing but dogs. Mongrels. The mongrel finally stopped screaming, she probably lost her voice. With a sigh, Naruto turned on the lights. He grabbed the register next to him, opened it and put it in front of Agnes. "Point out the names of your friends in the register," he said as he glared at her. The girl did nothing and continued to cry. "Fine, I'll just kill you, mommy and daddy. And if I kill you, that means no making out with boys and no internet." The girl's eyes widened in horror and she quickly pointed out the girls' names. "Thanks. Now I'll be on my way now," Naruto said with a smile as he picked up the register. "But know this, if you ever disrespect your mother again I will come back and kill you. You are lucky you have one as loving as she is, some of us can only dream of such a privilege. And you," Naruto pointed a finger at the father. "You have a loving wife that begged me to stop when I was beating the loving crap out of you. Even though you clearly abuse her and don't even respect her. Mongrel. You're lucky she didn't leave you and your daughter and be on her merry freaking way. Lost to the world that you spent a fucking year wasting your time searching for her, only to find nothing. If I ever find out that you did something to her I will kill you while your daughter watches. And remember I'm watching you." Unknown to Naruto, his eyes flashed red. Scaring everyone in the room. With a salute, the rampaging blonde father was on his way. Athena had watched and heard everything Naruto had done. This wasn't the man she had dated years ago. That man was friendly, caring and loving. This man was sadistic, cunning and downright evil. She watched as he went to each house belonging to girls that bullied their daughter. To be honest, Athena didn't really know what to think of Naruto Uzumaki, she kinda felt played. He more or less lied to her. She was freaking goddess. And he played her. Come to think of it, she kinda did the same to him. And not just him, others as well. So that's what it felt like. She followed Naruto behind as he messed with each and every girl on his shit list. None of it was physical, it was mental. Naruto wouldn't even lay a single hand on them. All he did was mess with their minds. And all the while he had a smirk on his face. Once he was done with every girl on his list, the blonde was his way. Athena followed, wanting to know what the blonde would do next. Cause he was more or less a wanted man now. Naruto sighed as he opened the door to his apartment. How was he to explain this to his little? Tears leaked from his walked-in. He was always close with Annabeth to the point she told him everything. Even when she had her period she came to him, but thank God Artemis handled that situation. But after Artemis left, they drifted apart even more. Annabeth had lost someone she saw as a mother, and recently she more or less stopped talking to him. He could have easily gone commando on her and followed everywhere she went, but he decided against it. She needed her privacy and he respected that. He walked into the living room. Annabeth was the on-couch fast asleep. When she found no one home she must have gotten worried and waited up all night for him. He smiled and made his way to his room. Once there he changed into an orange shirt and a pair of black pants. Quickly he packed his clothes into a bag. One of the families he attacked might have the balls to call the police. He went to Annabeth's room and packed every piece of clothing she owned. As he packed, he grabbed his phone and dialed a number. He put his phone to his ear and used his shoulder to keep it there as he used both hands to pack. A few seconds later a voice was heard at the other side of the call. "Yes, I would like to buy Google," Naruto said. "And how much would that be?" "Wow, that's a lot of cash. May I have an account number I could transfer cash into?" "Thanks, you will have the money in 2 hours." With that said Naruto grabbed his phone and cut the line. Once he was done he grabbed the bag stuffed with clothes and went to the living room. Annabeth was still asleep. He sighed and ran a hand through his blonde hair. Annabeth looked so cute when she was sleeping and he couldn't find it in him to wake her up. So he just stood there for the next 5 hours, looming over the sleeping little girl. Creepy much? Athena watched as Naruto just stood there for 5 hours straight. She had heard the phone call and assumed that he just bought a company worth billions. Annabeth begun to murmur in her sleep. "Dethalia sorry, Elit Yaudi," she said. Soon she begun to toss and turn. In her tossing and turning Annabeth fell off the couch. Lucky Naruto caught her. He gently held her in a hug as she struggled. But soon she relaxed and slept peaceful. "Don't worry my little Annie," Naruto said as he walked towards the door. "We're gonna live a happy life, just the two of us." With that said Naruto walked out of the apartment. Only coming back to get his bags and of course his cereal. Athena was now in deep thought. Was Naruto Uzumaki an appropriate father? Annabeth in her sleep mentioned the death Thalia, the demigod daughter of Zeus. There had been an incident with the son of Hermes, Annabeth and Thalia. The incident ended with Thalia being turned into a tree. Athena had done all she could to help her daughter, so it was win-win for her. But one thing still troubled her, Naruto's sadistic nature. Was he safe to be around Annabeth? To be honest, the reason Athena never told him about her being a goddess was because she thought he couldn't handle it. But also because she forgot. And for a good reason. When Athena had given Naruto Annabeth, he made a fuss about her name. In his own words he said. "The name's okay, but it kinda sounds like a name that belongs to a possessed evil doll." They argued for hours before Athena decided to be the grown-up and leave. He was funny, smart, loving and handsome. That's the Naruto Uzumaki she knew, not the sadistic and cunning Naruto Uzumaki she just met. Athena needed to know if Annabeth was safe and the only goddess she knew that could give her that information was Artemis. Cup. Later that night. In a flash of golden light Athena appeared in the middle of Artemis's camp. The hunters, upon noticing her quickly stopped whatever activity they were doing and bolted to the ground. Athena moved past them and headed straight to the largest tent in the camp. She reached the entrance of the tent and was about to enter, but Artemis came out first. "Athena?" Artemis asked. It seemed she wasn't expecting her. "What brings you here?" "I wish to talk to you about something if you don't mind," Athena said calmly. Artemis nodded her head and invited her in. Truth be told, Athena was one of the few in their family she saw eye to eye with. But they're not really that close to the point that they visited each other without a proper reason. Cough Apollo cough. The two were now seated face to face. The silence was uncomfortable, so Artemis decided to break it. "So?" Athena cleared her throat first before talking. "It's about a certain someone who you know," she said. "Who?" Artemis asked. Who in Hades could she be talking about? "I know a lot of Naruto Uzumaki." Just when Artemis thought she could forget him, here he comes again. "Artemis, I'm not an idiot. I put the pieces together," Athena said. Her calculating gaze fixed on Artemis. The red-haired goddess looked away. "Naruto Uzumaki. I want to know all about him." Artemis stayed silent for a while before she sighed. "There's nothing to know. He's just a Before you start, I would like to show you something." A holographic screen appeared. It showed what Athena had seen that night. Artemis and Athena watched screen as it showed Naruto mentally torturing a couple of girls that had tormented Annabeth. At this, Artemis wasn't the least bit surprised. That was so just like him. "What is the point of this?" Artemis asked at the end. This was just Naruto being Naruto. "After all that, that's all you have to say?" Athena asked with a raised eyebrow. "I've seen that man do far worse," Artemis muttered. "He took down my hunt all by himself. That was a day not to forget." If Athena was surprised, she didn't show it. "Sorry, run that by me again," she said with a confused look. Artemis sighed and begun telling the story. Flashback inside a flashback, that's like. "Lady Artemis, are you sure this is a wise decision?" Zoe asked. "Besides Artemis," said goddess of the hunt, was holding a bundle of blankets. "He is the father." "But he is," the goddess said. "But he is also a man." "Still," Zoe muttered. "This just feels wrong." Artemis was about to reply but was interrupted by one of the hunters running towards them. Lady Artemis, it's the man, has gone berserk," the girl said as she tried to catch her breath. "He's attacking the others." "Take the baby." Artemis, without leaving any room for arguments, was gone in a burst of speed. "That man. How dare he attack one of her hunters? He is dead. If he wasn't dead already, that is. Her hunters were the best of the best. No way he could hold up to them." Reaching the fight in a matter of seconds, Artemis was about to jump in but stopped. The scene before her was surprising. The bloody blonde man missing with an arrow stuck in his left eye. He was holding two hunting knives that clearly belonged to one of her hunters. Shirtless and bloody, he fought back against the hunters. One girl got close and stabbed him in the stomach. The blonde man yelled out in pain. Distracted, two hunting knives were stabbed in his legs, sending him on his knees. The man quickly got back on his skill beyond what Artemis thought a man could. He blocked the hunters but didn't fight back. "I was cons more." He panted as held the knives tightly. The slashes on his chest were closing at a really fast pace. He dropped both knives, one hand went and yanked out the arrow lodged in his head through his arrow, as well as his eyeball came out followed by blood. "Please give me back my daughter. Filthy pig. Demanding from us. You won't get anything from us, that little girl is now part of the hunt." "No you can't, she's the blonde man," Naruto pleaded. But it fell on deaf ears. "Silence. You won't get her. She won't be raised by a man like you. Please just give me my daughter." There was silence for a while before finally spoke. "On your knees, now," she said. Naruto's visible eye widened. "Didn't you hear? Get on your knees and maybe I might consider giving you your daughter back." Without hesitation, the blonde man fell to his knees. Phoebe walked towards him with a smirk on her face. She stopped once she was towering over him. She then smashed her foot on his face, grinding it into Naruto's face. "By the way, I lied. The girl stays." The firm hand grabbed Phoebe's leg by the ankle. She grunted a bit as she applied force into her foot, but the firm hold on her leg did not budge. "You know, I'm a horrible person. All I've done is kill, steal and repeat. And to honest, I deserve all this shit. But I promised Athena that I would protect my little girl even if I have to die trying." Faster than Phoebe could see, Naruto pushed her off, grabbed the two knives lodged in his legs and stood up. "That's a promise of a lifetime." But that Naruto charged. Arrow after arrow was fired at him, but he easily deflected them with the knife in his left hand. His right hand attacked and blocked hits from the hunters. One girl got close enough, she thrust out a hand holding a knife. Intent on slashing Naruto's throat, but the blonde caught her hand by the wrist. He then turned her around and karate chopped her at the back of the head. The hunter's eyes rolled back in her head and she blacked out. Just like that, hunter after hunter came and each was knocked out. Artemis watched with wide eyes as Naruto didn't kill, he simply knocked them out. No matter how much damage a hunter inflicted, he didn't lash out, he simply knocked them out. Soon only one hunter remained. "Phoebe." Said hunter glared at him with a passion. Naruto, who had cuts and bruises, stared at her with a visible blue eye. He brought a hand up and wiped the blood off the side of his face. Now both blue eyes were visible. "I'll ask once more, where is my daughter? You'll have her over my dead body." "So be it." In a burst of speed, Phoebe and Naruto charged at each other. Knives clashed as both struggled to push the other down. But Naruto was clearly stronger, he easily overpowered Phoebe. The hunter moved away, putting a distance between them. But Naruto wouldn't have that and run towards her. Once he was close enough, he threw the knife in his left hand up in the air. It was a trick. Artemis knew that was a trick. I mean, who would be dumb enough to fall for that? Apparently Phoebe. Her eyes followed the knife in the air. Distracted, Phoebe felt pain flare in her shoulder. She screamed in pain and lost her footing. Quickly Naruto pulled out the knife he jabbed in Phoebe's shoulder. He kneed her in the gut and while she was hunched over in pain, he elbowed her on the back. Phoebe's eyes rolled back into her head and she was out cold. He then turned in the direction of Artemis was. Blue stared into silver as goddess and above average guy gazed at each other. Do you by any chance know where my baby is, pretty lady? And what if I do? Is this how it's gonna be, huh, pretty lady? Very well. The two then charged at each other. Artemis was panting heavily as she stood over a kneeling Naruto. She was covered in bruises and cuts and well, he was missing an arm. And he had a hole in his gut. Any last words, boy? This was arguably one of the best fights Artemis had ever had. This man. He gave a challenge only a few gods and monsters could. He made her fell of. He had caused something inside of her. Shame he had to die though. Yeah, please take care of my Annabeth. Naruto said with bloody smile. It was almost as if he was alright with his impending death. Why do you smile? Huh? Do you not know that you are a dead man? She asked confused. Why was he smiling? I do not understand. My little Annie is in your hands now, I hope she grows up to be Likeu. He said. Strong, smart and beautiful. His smile turned into a grin. White teeth stained red with blood. But went men disgusting pieces of crap that only cared for themselves. She was pretty sure he would beg for his life. But no, he had go make her doubt her beliefs. Great, just great. Just then Zoe came at view. Lady Artemis, stop. She said as she came between Artemis and Naruto, in her arms the crying baby girl. This isn't right. She'd been crying since we separated her from her father. Artemis nodded her head and dropped her knives. Do as you please. Zoe nodded, turned around and knelt in front of the one-armed man. She then handed him the crying girl. Upon being received by her father, the baby stopped crying. Zoe, who was now next to Artemis, watched as the father cried in joy and the baby just giggled and made grabbing motions with her hands. The two stood in silence. Was wrong about the world of man. Artemis finally broke the silence. All her life she thought she knew men were disgusting pigs that cared for no one but themselves. But now, she beginning to doubt herself. Has done the opposite of what I knew about men. Murders who lashed out when angered. From the beginning it was clear that he was better than Phoebe and the others, but he asked nicely where his daughter was. Even after they shot an arrow in his eye he still asked nicely. Perhaps we were. Now what? This might sound crazy, but maybe we should try finding out more about these so-called pigs. Zoe said as she looked at Artemis, who had a shocked look. What the fuck? Yes, it was just a suggestion, no need to yell in my ear. Zoe said as she rubbed her ear. The goddess looked away with a blush on her face. It's your fault for making such a crazy suggestion. And even if we tried that suggestion, which pig are we going to try it on? She looked at Zoe, who was looking straight ahead. Artemis followed her gaze. No, absolutely not. Fine, hey blondie. Artemis called out to the one-armed man, hold a baby. But there was no reply. Hey blondie. Nothing came, only light snoring. Zoe, I think he fell asleep. He must be tired with the beating you gave him. Zoe looked at Artemis with an accusing glare. Look at him, he has a hole in his gut and is missing an arm. It's not my fault he wouldn't die. What's that supposed to mean? Do you know how many eyeballs and fingers he grew back? I kept on slashing and stabbing but he wouldn't give. Artemis said as she pointed at the sleeping blonde. Who in Hades falls asleep like that anyway? Don't change the subject. I swear, I tried to end it quickly, but he kept on dodging and not dying. Artemis defended, she tried all she could, but he kept on healing. So your solution to that is chopping his arm off and blowing a hole in his stomach. So what do you think I should have, huh? I don't know, go at your godly form, anyone who gazes upon the divine form of a god or goddess is vaporized instantly. Even if he can heal, he can't heal from nothing. Zoe said with smirk. I was enjoying the fight. Artemis looked away while muttering incorrect words. What? I said, I was enjoying the fight. Huh? I was enjoying the fight, okay. Look who has crush. Don't get cute with me. Flashback inside of a flashback end. That's how it happened, Artemis said. Isn't that right, girls? A gasp was heard and the sound of people falling quickly followed. Artemis just smiled and looked at Athena. And that's all you need to know about. Athena just looked at Artemis with a thoughtful look. And if you think you can take his daughter away from him so easily, you got another thing coming. He will find a way to hunt you down, trust me, he will. Athena just nodded her head and stood up. Thank you for the warning. She was about to stop her, but Artemis grabbed her shoulder. Don't take away the one thing that makes him happy, please. Athena nodded and walked out. Was Naruto a danger to Annabeth? Maybe. Perhaps some more observation was needed. Flashback end. Starting from now, it's where we left off. Annabeth shrank back in her seat due to the stares she was getting from her peers. Why couldn't her father punish her like how normal parents do to some of their children? Instead of a slap to the face or a scolding, he had to do this. Annabeth, is this true? She heard someone ask from her table. Well, it's a funny, she tried to explain, but the stares she was getting were making it hard. His lying. Why Annabeth, how my heart hurts from those words. Oh, the love I have given you was nothing but lies. All eyes turned back to Naruto. All those nights I kept your bed warm. Why just this morning we connected. Kept her bed warm. I wish he could keep my bed warm. See, connected. Why you have no proof L did such a thing. Annabeth said as she stood up and pointed an accusing finger at Naruto. Just what the hell was he playing at? Was punishment for the Mr. Chase thing. Oh really? Why yeah. I know the color of panties you're wearing today, Naruto said as he nodded to himself. This was a tactic his father taught him and it was working. Annabeth was unknowingly walking into a trap. And how in Hades do you know this? A rough-looking girl asked. Naruto, who still had his eyes on Annabeth, noticed her face flash with anger before it was gone. It seemed Annabeth had dislike for this girl. Oh, and who might you be, beautiful, Naruto said with smile. This had the desired effect because the girl was now blushing like mad. I'm a daughter of Ares, that's all you need to know. The girl said with a blush on her face. Well, beautiful daughter of Ares, she showed them to me, Naruto said. A sly smile crossed his face as spoke once more. Say, daughter Ares, I have a question. Sure, fire away. Do you have a boyfriend? Silence, total silence. This was the first time someone had the balls to ask the brown-haired girl out. What? The brown-haired demigod asked, shocked at this. Everyone was quiet as they looked between Naruto, Annabeth and the brown-haired girl. No. Annabeth exclaimed as her fist hit the table. No, anyone but her, not her. She thought as she stomped towards Naruto. Whatever this was, it was time to end it. That is it. No more, the line has been drawn. But I thought you said what we had was a lie, since you reject me, so I'm going for someone else. Naruto said as he smiled at her. Haha, I've got you now, Annie. Naruto thought as he watched Annabeth storm towards him. Someone beautiful, someone more immature and can keep up with me. But what about him? Annabeth was now in front of Naruto as she glared up at him. You're about picked it. She pointed towards the brown-haired girl. Over me, your own daughter. You son of a, you tricked me. Of course I did, dear. But how? I'm a child of Athena. I'm smarter than you. Indeed, she was the one that made him coffee every morning, brought him the newspaper. Even made him breakfast, lunch and supper. I most likely doubt that, Naruto said with smile. Every camper was now confused. First they're lovers, now she's his daughter. What hell? Before anyone asked what was going on, Mr. D stood up. Alright brats, that's enough of that. He said. Chiron. Yes, of course, Mr. D, well now introduction are done, we can all eat. Chiron said. Annabeth huffed as she turned around and went back to her table while Naruto took his seat. Chiron stamped his hooves and shouted out. To the gods. To the gods. Everyone shouted as they began to fill their plates. Naruto just watched in awe as wood nymphs came out from Apollo, nowhere with more platters of food which was filled with all sorts foods. Grapes, apples, cheese, fresh bread, a whole variety of foods. But to his shock, no cereal. Seeing the sad look on the older blonde's face, Luke decided to ask what was wrong. Naruto, what's wrong? Well, seeing all this amazing food, it's just there's no cereal, Naruto said a bit sad. Wood nymph passing by heard him and with a click of her fingers a bowl of cereal appeared. Upon seeing this, Naruto's face lit up like Christmas. He knelt down before her and held her hand. I must repay you for this. He said as looked into the eyes of the blushing wood nymph. What is your deepest desire? The wood nymph knelt next to him and whispered something in his ear before she stood up, giggled and walked away. What was that all about? Luke asked, but his fellow blonde just shrugged and gave a smile. Said blonde was about to start eating his cereal. But Luke stopped him. Boy, you better have a good reason for interrupting my cereal time. Naruto said, threatening as he pointed his spoon at the son of Hermes. How dare this mortal interrupt his cereal time? We have to offer some to the gods, for some reason they like the smell of burnt food. So let's go scrape some into that pot over there. He said as he stood up, walked over to a giant pot on the fire. Higher beings of existence love the smell of burnt food. That's shocking. Naruto waited until everyone was done throwing food into the pot. So these Greek gods love the smell of burnt food. I mean, why love burnt food smells when you can literally make your own food using your godly powers? Luke was done and now it was his turn. Hope you guys love cereal. Anyway, this for Goddess Athena, thanks for giving me my little Naruto. No wait, her name is Annabeth for now. And thank you to Goddess Demeter for being the baddest goddess that was smart enough to invent cereal. For without cereal, everyone watched as Naruto prayed to the goddess of agriculture about cereal. Complimenting her and giving reasons why cereal was the best food of all. And that is the reason for Chinese New Year, amen. Once he was done, he went back to his seat and be eating. Cup. Annabeth munched on her food with an annoyed look on her face. She was glaring bloody murder at father. Their way, wasn't he angry with her? She lied to him. She lied about her name. But here he was, the only punishment she got was being embarrassed in front of her peers. Now she was feeling guilty for lying. But what annoyed her were the stares he was getting from the girls from the Aphrodite cabin. TCH, whatever. And that my friends is why Twinkies don't expire. Naruto said as he opened his mouth and spoon of cereal was placed in it. So any questions? I got one. One of the Stroll brothers, Travis, raised his hand. How are you such a babe magnate? Whatever do you mean? Yeah, look at you. This time it was Connor who spoke. He gestured to Naruto, who had a wood nymph seated on his lap. Said word nymph was also feeding him cereal. You have this going for you, you have the Aphrodite cabin giving you the love eyes, you made the toughest girl on Camp Blush, and I'm willing to bet you can make Hunter of Artemis fall for you. Somewhere in Yellowstone, a certain hunter sneezed. Some pig must be taking about me, Zoe muttered as she rubbed her nose. Zoe, you sick all something. I bet even the goddess of the hunt can fall for you. The whole table burst out laughing. How like that would happen. Somewhere in Yellowstone, a certain virgin goddess sneezed. Zoe, I think you started something. Sorry Lady Artemis. Just be I guess. Naruto said as all the boys of the Hermes cabin looked at him like he had grown a second head. That's all there is. That crap never works with chicks. Both Stoll brothers yelled out. This of course earned them glares from the girls listening. Stop with the glares, you know it's true. Soon dinner was over and everyone made their way to the amphitheater. His so-called nephews and nieces, children of Apollo, were performing a variety of songs in a cappella. Naruto made his way to where Annabeth and few of her siblings were roasting marshmallows. Around them demigods talking, laughing and overall having a good time near a giant fire. Was that even safe? It's really weird that you have siblings, Naruto said with a smile as he sat next to Annabeth with a smile. They really look like you, Itskuri. Yeah, well, dear mother is into blondes with tanned skin. Annabeth muttered as she leaned into her father. If you know anyone with gray eyes, blonde hair and tanned skin, they're probably a child of Athena. Blonde hair, storm gray eyes and tanned skin. Who did he know that fitted that description? When people look at Naruto and Annabeth they would deny and say that she wasn't his daughter. Storm gray eyes. When he had blue eyes. He just marked it off to his own father having storm gray eyes, blonde hair and tanned skin. Come to think of it, Athena had black hair, gray eyes. Gray eyes? Gray eyes? So that means that the girl he dated was actually his grandmother. Dear God, he went on a date with his own grandmother. To make things worse, they even had a daughter together. Fuck. So wait. If he had a daughter with his own granny, then that means his daughter is Hishis. Annabeth looked up and saw the horrified look on his face that quickly turned into one of confusion. Ah, so he finally found out. That makes me your aunt/daughter. Oh okay. The two sat in silence, enjoying each other's warmth. Suddenly the singing stopped. And all eyes were on Annabeth and Naruto, well mostly Naruto. Above Naruto a gold sickle with a few sheaves of wheat appeared over his head. Naruto's body was covered in a green aura that blinded everyone. A few seconds later the light died down and everyone was shocked. Naruto, who looked like a 23-year-old before, now looked like an 18-year-old. His blonde hair was slightly longer. And of course he was a few inches shorter. That wasn't expected. Naruto, who getting the funny looks, asked. What's wrong? Is there something on my face? On my body? Did I get younger or something? He chuckled at the last part. Dad, if you go to the bathroom don't freak out. Acacia. After that Chiron told everyone to be off to their respective cabins. As everyone went, Naruto headed straight to the bathroom. Soon the loud yelling of a man was heard throughout the night. What the actual fuck? End chapter. Finally, what a rush chapter. So first chapter is a flashback focused on Athena and how she sees Naruto. She sees him as threat. Anyway, not much to say but stay sharp and enjoy fapping to Shade Base. Chris from Zambia saying traps are not gay, they're homosexual little boys. Coming soon. I'm leaving the hunt, Zoe Nightshade said as she stared at Artemis with steel in her eyes. I won't deny my feelings for him any longer. Beaut, you can't. I love him and unlike you I won't tell myself I don't any longer. With that she took off the symbol that showed that she was leader of the hunt. Goodbye, my friend. You see, there are a few types of males in this world. Boys, men and legends. For the most part it goes like this. Boys look for girlfriends. Men propose to women. And legends, they get proposed to by women. Right now Naruto Uzumaki was a legend. Kneeling before him while holding a ring was Zoe Nightshade. Would you make me the happiest woman on earth and be my husband? She asked with a nervous smile. Say Percy, Naruto called out as he looked around the room. Watch, one is your father, Poseidon. Is over there, said as he pointed. Excitedly Percy led Naruto to his father. Dad, this is Naruto. You must be the sea god. Naruto said with a sweet smile. Poseidon, being one of the friendly gods, smiled back at Naruto. And you must be Naruto. The god greeted. He outstretched his hand for a shake, but Naruto just kept smiling. I have something for you. Naruto's hair shadowed his eyes. I have something for you. Me? Yeah, if you could just lean in a bit. Poseidon did as told and leaned in a bit. Bad idea. He was suddenly sucker punched so hard he was sent flying across the room. You raped my mother, you asshole. Everyone was shocked at this. Hit him again, haha. Well, everyone but Zeus. He was applauding like a mad god. Again. Surprised, you never received punishment for that. And now Naruto cracked his knuckles as he slowly walked towards a groaning Poseidon who was slowly getting up. Today is the day, asshole. Today is the day you get punishment. But that Naruto charged. All the while being encouraged by Zeus. The other gods and goddess just sweat dropped at the king of the gods being a hype man. And to think he's the one that rolls us all, muttered Athena as she face-palmed. Chris from Zambia saying. Naruto let out a silent yawn as he stood up from his bed. He looked around and noticed most of the cabin was asleep. Slowly he made his way out of cabin, making sure to move quietly. He opened the door slowly expecting the sun to hit him in the face. Only to find it wasn't yet out. He gently closed the door behind and begun to look around. He spotted a few wood nymphs heading to the dining pavilion. He waved at them and they waved back with big happy smiles. They must have liked him, or they just wave at everyone with big happy smiles. Some even blew him kisses. He heard a sound and spotted Chiron trotting towards him. Naruto, Lord Apollo said you would be awake by now. He said. Naruto raised a brow. Really? Where is he anyway? He looked around, not spotting his self-proclaimed twin. Well, the gods are not allowed to enter the camp. Chiron said with a frown. He's outside waiting for you. Naruto nodded and was about to walk away. But first ask Mr. D. Thanks, Naruto said as he waved goodbye. As he walked he admired the beautiful camp. He spotted a gold cabin that seemed shine brightly under. It shines so brightly that I'm blind. He went blind from looking at it too long. Thanks to his healing factor his eyeballs were now okay as walked towards the giant tree he spotted the god of wine coming out of the big house. Yo Mr. D, I'm going out for a while. He yelled out. Mr. D's response was. Whatever, I don't care. Passing the big ass tree he spotted Apollo standing on the road, tapping his foot impatiently. You're late. Do you know how early it is? I'm the one who made it morning, of course I do. Whatever, Naruto muttered. So what's this all about? Walk with me, Apollo said as the two blondes began walking. Today you will be training your ass off. What? Naruto asked. You dragged me out here to tell me that. Don't make that face, you were gonna train your ass off anyway. Right. Apollo said with a really shiny smile. Naruto quickly looked away. Okay. Just close your mouth, I don't want to go blind again. Apollo lessened his smile. Alrighty then. He put hand on Naruto's shoulder. Breakfast then training. And both were gone in a golden flash of light. Naruto blinked as he found himself in an area he was unfamiliar with. It was entirely white. Nothing was there, it was just empty white space. What is this place? He asked as he looked around. This, my friend, is my brother's training area. Naruto quickly moved and went for a punch to whoever answered his question. Apollo raised an eyebrow as he easily caught the fist in hand. Wow, that was slow. Naruto relaxed as he retracted his fist. I know, this body feels so stiff. He said as he begun to punch and kick the air. He was currently moving fast, but Naruto knew he was supposed to move faster. I feel so slow. Yeah, and you look slow, Apollo said. Anyway, this training area can be whatever I want it to be. Like a forest. Suddenly the wide empty space was now a large forest that went on for miles and miles. It can also be a desert. The scenery changed from a forest to a desert. Naruto looked around with wides. This was perfect for training. He could easily train in any weather conditions. It totally beats going around the world to train in exotic and dangerous places. Okay, I'm all fired up. Naruto said with a grin. When do we start? Just hold on a little, will ya? Apollo muttered as typed on a phone that he got from God knows where. I told you breakfast first, then training. The two stayed silent before Naruto groaned and began doing push-ups to pass the time. Hey bro. Yeah? I'm kinda going through the phase, Apollo said with a sheepish grin. The phase, as it were, was when Apollo was finding it hard to find someone to date. Normally Naruto wouldn't care for such, but after a certain incident he learned it was best to help out Apollo. Even if he didn't like it. He groaned as remembered the day not caring backfired on him. Flashback. Naruto groaned as he was beaten again. Damn it, it's like you can see the future. He said as threw the game controller away. Apollo, who seated next, just chuckled. Nah, I'm just better than you, he smirked at the angry expression on Naruto's face. The two were currently at Naruto's old apartment playing video games. Oh, by the way, I gave Annabeth that new laptop you said she wanted. Really? Naruto's angry face turned into a big smile. Thanks man, I owe you big time. It was nothing, really. She wanted the latest version and you got it for her. The least I could do is pay for it. Naruto said as went for his back pocket. How much? Dude, I got this. My brother made it specifically for her. He went all out with this one. Apollo said. I liked it so bad that had him make me one just like hers, though mine is solid gold. Cool. What colors is Annie's? It's pink. Naruto gave Apollo a blank stare. Of course, because Annabeth is the kind of girl that licks pink. He said. Well, she's 7, isn't she? Whatever, I'm going to check on her if you don't mind. Naruto said as he patted Apollo on the back. He stood up from his seat and made his way to his daughter's room. As he walked, couldn't help but smile. Annabeth out of the blue wanted a laptop. He said he would get her one if she passed and was one of the top 10 in her class. Of course, this lighted a fire in the little girl and she went and became number 1. So being who he was, Naruto decided to get her the best of the best. He had asked Apollo for help and the blonde said he would hook her up with the latest version on the market. Though he needed to be sure if she liked it. Reaching her room, he gently opened the door. Unlike most girls, Annabeth wasn't into the Barbie crap, she was more dignified than that. Even more so than him. He slowly entered the room, his eyes met the 7-year-old blonde who had her eyes and mouth wide open. Annabeth's eyes were wide as she stared at her new gold laptop. Wait a minute. Gold laptop. Didn't Apollo say Annabeth's was pink? Naruto made his way towards his little girl. He gently put a hand on her shoulder. Annie, what's wrong? He asked as his blue eyes stared into her gray-wide eyes. She looked at him and pointed at the laptop. Naruto's eyes went to the laptop and they widened in horror. What the fuck? Apollo was so hooked into his game that he did not see the kick was aimed at his head. He was sent flying into the wall, crushing face first into it. He groaned as he slowly stood up, but before he could get to his feet, he was suddenly hit with something hard at the back of his. The god held his head as he slowly stood up. Turned around and saw Naruto glaring at him. In the blondie's hands was the solid gold laptop. Hey, what was that for you dumb blonde? He yelled as he rubbed his already healing head. Who attacked people like that anyway? And why do you have my laptop? Oh, you mean the laptop that you gave to my 7-year-old daughter? Yelled Naruto as he stomped to Apollo and grabbed him by his shirt. That, mind you, is filled to the brim with porn. Apollo's eyes widened. Shit, he must have mistakenly given Annabeth his laptop. Well, things happen, he said as he nervously chuckled. Things happen. Naruto yelled in anger as he pushed Apollo away. I had to explain what was to 7-year-old. Not only that, but why 2 guys were doing it. What if neglected Naruto was adopted by Artemis? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.